Gaming news today is all about the next big thing. First, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford's getting heat for his comments about Borderlands 4 maybe being $80. But what really is the problem with what he said? Well, we'll look at his comments and how people are reacting. Second, the Stellar Blade sequel has been officially confirmed by the studio, and it might be showing up faster than you'd expect. Third, Naughty Dog is working on another project, and it isn't intergalactic, and according to a notable and reliable insider, this is not a small project. And as always, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar. So if you like my content, if you watch this content on a regular basis, if you're on YouTube, make sure you always make sure you hit that like button and consider supporting the channel directly. It's how I do this full time. Click join, and we do encourage folks to pick Member Plus. It's $6. It gets you into all the extra content instead of the gifted tier. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you so much for your support over there. We did get our Twitch channel back about a month ago, and if you have Amazon Prime, you can use your Twitch Prime every month. Remember, you have to do that manually every month, and it does support me. YouTube, always remember to go crazy on the like button, all right? So let's get into this. There's a lot of stories to cover here, and there's a lot of things to talk about. Well, another game looks like it will be $80, and gamers are not happy, and they really did not like how Randy Pitchford responded to the possibility that Borderlands 4 might be $80. When somebody on Twitter told Randy that the game better not be $80, he responded by saying, quote, A, it's not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. Now listen, I'm going to be honest, I don't really get what the problem is. I would actually prefer honest and raw responses like this versus like corporate approved, corpo speak about value and all these other empty canned responses. I also saw what he said in a Q&A a couple of weeks ago, and he was very transparent about the fact that it's up to the publisher. The price point is not his call, despite people continuing to say that it is his call. And he said that their goal is to make a game that is so good you feel like you were on the better end of the bargain. But I get it. Price increasing is not a fun thing. It stinks. Nobody likes it. But this is not his call. It is up to the publisher. And instead of talking to you like you're a sensitive or child that's like easy to upset, he's just shooting straight. He's speaking to us like we're adults, and people don't really like that. I respect that far more than speaking to us like we're stupid or that we don't know we're being shoveled corporate approved nothing statements about price increases. So I would prefer the candor and the honesty, even though it probably wasn't the best thing for him to say. I will admit that, but I would prefer honesty over what we typically get in these situations. So what do you think? Is $80 a deal breaker for you with Borderlands 4? And what about Randy's comments? Do you agree with me? Not? You can leave a comment below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. So we also have something else to discuss with Stellar Blade. In case you missed it, Stellar Blade 2 was confirmed in a recent report from the developer, and the release window is actually a lot closer than you might think. Insider Gaming had the following to say about Shift Up's recent financial report. Quote, a closer look at Stellar Blade's section shows that the platform expansion is planned and a sequel. This is all planned before 2027, meaning we could expect to see Stellar Blade anytime between now and the end of 2026. Now, seeing as how the game will be on Steam very shortly, this is a pretty quick turnaround time, okay? It might actually explain why they didn't do any substantive DLC. A lot of us thought we were going to get substantive DLC. Perhaps they did have extra content planned or slated or built, and they decided to use it for the sequel. 2 years is an incredibly quick turnaround time for a sequel. I mean, what do you think? I mean, we've gotten sequels in like a 3 to 4 window before, but not necessarily 2 years. Is this a reasonable timeline? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. So the other thing that we learned also has to do with Naughty Dog. Apparently, Naughty Dog is working on 2 games at once, and this means that Intergalactic and the Heretic Prophet is not the only game that they are currently working on. Neil Druckman said the following in an interview. He said, quote, there's another game that's being worked on at Naughty Dog when I'm in more of a producer role. Now, this is leading to a lot of speculation. People are like, well, he wouldn't be the producer on TLU 3. He would probably be the director. And he recently sat down on the Sacred Symbols podcast with Colin Moriarty, and he basically made it pretty clear that TLU 3 is not currently in production, although we've heard they've already done casting and writing. He continues to act as if it's not really happening right now, but it could. Now, some think maybe it's Uncharted, but Neil also made it pretty clear they were done with Uncharted. Maybe the rumored Cassie Drake story is a new take that's fresh enough for him and the team to want to step back into it. But Shinobi, a reliable insider, replied to somebody on Reset Era, and the person said, oh, this sounds like it's going to be a smaller project. And Shinobi simply replied with no, indicating this is not a small project. This is going to be something big. So to me, I think it's maybe TLU 3 or Uncharted or maybe a brand new IP. I have my own doubts they would be doing 2 brand new IPs at the exact same time. You know, I could be wrong. He keeps kind of dancing around TLU 3, and I don't think he would just be the producer of that, but maybe he is. He's so heavily involved in the TV show, maybe he's taking a more backseat role to TLU this time around. What do you think? What do you think the mysterious game is? You can let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. And the reason I say that at the end of each segment, guys, is we like to use these as like short news segments that we may be able to use as a short. That's why I say that at the end every time. I have to give like miniature outros. That might seem a little strange, but that's why we do that little behind the scenes look. Now, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar. According to the former CEO, Helldivers 2 has been hitting around 2.5 million players every week. They've also been hitting big numbers on Steam. This might give some context as to why PlayStation continues to want to push into live service. When you have a hit like Helldivers, it can pay out pretty big. I mean, 2.5 million players a week, that's probably a lot of dollary dues every week. Now, apparently, he also indicated, the former CEO of Helldivers, indicated that they're hitting about 200,000 concurrent players right now. I logged in last night just to check on it, and the in-game menu said that it was close to 300,000 players. It was like 270, 280,000 players, something like that. Their recent update, Heart of Democracy, brought new weapon customization, new enemy types, and no, you're not seeing this incorrectly, a new place to fight, which is actually on Earth. So you're fighting in city streets with big giant buildings and stuff. Like, I have not had a chance to check this out, but buddy, do I want to. This looks incredible. This looks like exactly what I hoped they would start to do with Helldivers, which is really expand the feel and the vibe and the content itself. They've got a very, very good format, and I think they can just continue to iterate on this. I mean, I could see in a couple of years, or maybe even in a year, going to, you know, new planetary systems and biomes that look completely different than what we're accustomed to, because if they can do this with giant cities and, you know, skyscrapers and stuff, I think they've got a very promising future. So this is a great time to jump back in or to start fresh. Helldivers is absolutely a game worth your attention if you like those kind of games, and it's kind of crushing it right now. So that's it for the news. Now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. We're kind of back to our format of multi-topic, lots of things to discuss. We kind of already discussed a little bit the debate about Randy Pitchford's comments in Morning Coffee, but I'm sure we can continue to debate that, because I don't think it's necessarily a done conversation. People are very upset, and I've just of the opinion that, like, I don't think it's that big of a deal what he said. I think people are being overly sensitive and saying, well, I'm not going to buy the game now because of a tweet. And I do have some people to thank. A gifted member from Joker Quinn. Han shot first, and so did you. Thank you so much. And that takes us to 2 over here on YouTube, and then we're going to jump to 8 on Twitch because Warhawk renewed their subscription. Thanks for using your Prime on me for 7 months. And somebody says here, you just followed me, so you say, why are you bashing Bungie's Marathon if you're the one who spoiled the relationship with them? So you think me bashing Marathon is because I spoiled the relationship with them? You think I was the one that did what they did? That's an interesting theory, that is. Listen, if you're going to be a Bungie sycophant, there's other streams for you to go hang out in. You're not going to get along here if you think that's why I've been quote unquote bashing Marathon. I've just called it how I've seen it. I said Concord would flop. I said Marathon didn't have a shot. I said that Fair Game should be canceled. Marathon doesn't get a pass. I'm not going to give him a pass. I mean, I know, because you gobble up everything Bungie probably says and does. Maybe you worship at the altar of Bungie like so many people have over the years. You're upset that I've been critical of the game. That game is crashing and burning. Nobody's bashing it. We're watching it crash to the earth. I don't know what you want. Sorry. I mean, I'm sorry you're disappointed in where it's ending up. I don't know. Maybe if they stole more artwork, it'd be in better shape. Wolf Saint says, what if they're working on Intergalactic and its sequel at the same time? Now, I highly doubt that. I don't think that's what it is. No, I don't think they would do that. And the way he phrased it and the way it's being talked about, I don't think the second Naughty Dog game is a sequel. I don't think that's how they would operate. What is Fair Games? Fair Games is supposed to be another live service game from PlayStation. It's a competitive heist game. Yeah. Wait. Oh, I must have got a tip. I just saw the pop out. Phil Spencer with $2 says, play Hellblade 2 best on the PS5 Pro and PC. Thank you so much, Phil Spencer, for that super chat, for that tip. Bashing individual workers? What are you talking about? Where have I bashed individual workers? I don't know what you're referring to, my friend. Has somebody put me in their content and misrepresented me? I mean, that's par for the course for salt farmers and dishonest YouTubers who are creatively impotent and have to use other people's content. I don't know what you're referring to. I've not bashed a single person on that project. I've said that I don't believe them and that I think the director should have stepped down and that I think that he stole it. I think he did. I think it was him. I don't buy this mythical former employee thing that they came up with. They're not an honest company. They have a history of lying to the public. They have a history of, sweeping misconduct under the rug. Their reputation precedes them. There's no reason to trust them at all. There's no reason to trust them in any respect. Somebody also found another logo that was stolen. Like, are they going to tell us that it was the exact same employee that stole that logo as well? I don't know what you want from me, dude. And a 10 bomb comes in from Pathalon Phoenix. He says, all right, let's make it interesting, Twitch. It's now 12-8, and whoever hits it gets it, and you guys just hit the 75, and then it's going to get bumped to 80 by DK Bager. Very well played, DK Bager. Guys, whoever hits the milestone gets the gifts. So we are exactly 20 away from 400, and YouTube has already secured the first one. I thought your take on Randy was an absolute W. Did I like what he said? No, not really, but his response was the truth from his POV, and that is needed. If I have to read one more legally approved drivel from a big company or person, it's just so pathetic, and they say nothing. Yeah, I'm not even saying that I like what he said or that I'm like, yeah, he's 100% right. I'm like, he's speaking the truth. It's not up to him. Fans will figure it out. He shouldn't have used the word real fans because that gets people really upset, but it's like, I would much rather get him than like what we've gotten from Phil Spencer for the last couple of years. I mean, ask the Xbox guys what they think of like very clean corporate approved, corpo speak that they've gotten from Phil for the last 2 or 3 years. It hasn't really made them all that happy or satisfied. They feel like they've been quote unquote, lied to or misled. I would much rather somebody just shoot straight with me, And I understand that doing that as a CEO is reckless. One of, shoot from the hip. He shoots first, ask questions later. He's always been a bit of a loose cannon as a CEO. And, if he harmed the project's, profitability and people are upset and they're not going to pre-order now. Listen, the number of people that aren't going to pre-order because of his tweet is probably not enough to matter. I honestly mean that. I don't think people are going to be that upset. Big blip. Yeah, it looks like YouTube had a blip, but it didn't happen over here on Twitch, so it was YouTube. $2 super chat. I'm sorry, a $2 tip over here on Twitch from Phil Spencer. Just 4 games. Also, play Hellblade 2 on the best on the PS5 Pro and PC. Thank you, Phil Spencer, for that tip. Cat Uncle with 20 months says, add 1 to the count. There it is. It's a little friendly competition between the platforms today, and YouTube's taken that early lead. And we are now 19 away from the next milestone. Thank you. Real fans will walk the extra mile. Fans might not. Listen, if you're him, okay, it's probably not fun staring down the barrel of a potential $80 price point that he has no control over. People can say it's up to him all they want. They're not speaking the truth. Like, the irony, this is the grand irony. Getting angry at him for saying something that's true and then saying things that are not true. We just deal in lies these days. No one speaks the truth anymore. Like, he does not determine the price of the game. The CEO of the developer does not get to tell the publisher what happens with the price of the game. It's not up to him. All the distribution, all the pricing, all that is handled by the publisher. He doesn't get to like walk in a room and cross them. It's like, no, I'm in charge. That's not how it works. He said this weeks ago on a Q&A. We already knew it wasn't up to them. This isn't new information. Yo, Plappa resubscribed over here and says, Zelda Heart is smelly. Well, we're sorry that Zelda Heart's smelly. I'm sorry that you've had to deal with that. That's going to bump the line to 382, but then it's going to jump to 383 because Zelda Heart over here says Zelda Heart is smelly. Oh, I see. You're double dipping. You're double dipping and you're making fun of yourself. Thank you very much for doing that. Manuel says, had to do IRL things, but we can be critical without being cruel. Okay, listen, like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your issue is with my coverage of Marathon. Homie, this is the internet, and that guy got shredded, and I would say on a spectrum of cruel to just having a giggle, I'm closer to just having a giggle. I wasn't cruel. I didn't call him anything. I didn't call him names. We have him as an emote. We're turning it into a meme. We're having a giggle. We're having a laugh. Homie sat there and read something that was clearly corporate approved nothing. It was corporate approved nothing. There was no ownership whatsoever. And the final frame of the stream being him saluting, that was a meme within seconds of the stream ending. If the internet's being cruel about what they did, maybe they should have handled it better. Maybe you shouldn't steal other people's work. I mean, the idea that, like, they're the victims here is just hilarious to me. Now, it wouldn't be the first time we dealt with false victimhood in that community, but there's nobody here was cruel about it. We had a laugh about it. That's it. I was critical of their lack of ownership. I was critical of the game. I've been critical of how they've handled the showcase and the alpha. It's like, you guys really think you've got something here and you clearly don't. I was critical of leadership, not listening to feedback. I don't know what you want from me. A $2 super chat tip from J Hart says, I'll be playing Helldivers, but my FiOS is down. Oh, that's unfortunate. This guy says, stop deriding Bungie. The leadership does the damage. Marathon's cooked over the whole internet. Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, accusing me of cruelty in how I've covered Marathon or how I covered, Joe Cross in that stream, man, oh man, I think you guys are reaching. I really do. Listen, it's on brand for like Bungie sycophants to turn me into a villain over very benign behavior. I'm kind of used to that, so I'm assuming that's what's going on. I don't know if I'm on a forum somewhere or a Reddit thread somewhere or like a YouTube video somewhere where they're like, here goes Lono again, big, mean, 148-pound, 5'6" Lono. He's so scary, mean, and unkind. Like, he's such a scary villain. I don't know what people want from me. They stole artwork, and as far as I can tell, in my estimation, they have lied about it. They've taken zero ownership of it, and I've been incredibly critical about that. Trying to turn them into the victim here is laughably stupid. I think it's laughably stupid. You're 148 pounds? Yeah, there's nothing to me. People act like I'm this terrifying villain. Like I'm the villain in so many people's worlds. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Leviathaner with 11 months. Thanks so much for renewing your sub. I feel like you just did it just like the other guy did. Why? I feel like you guys are getting to celebrate your renewals twice on Twitch. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to count it, but it's very strange. Lono being cruel to Bungie in 2025 is both hilarious and the biggest reach since Halo. I know, like, the irony is not lost on me that you're talking about me being cruel to Bungie. Like, you could cut that irony with a machete, it's so thick. Are you freaking kidding me? Me. I'm the one that's being cruel? Really? Oh, okay. You must not know the deep lore of my history in this channel if you think I'm being cruel to them. 2-spot from Manuel over here on YouTube says, not all Manuels are alike. Thank you. And then a $2 super chat tip from Joe Cross. Corporations aren't your friends. Thank you. Stop it. I have yet to see one person who streams for a living say anything positive about Marathon. Well, the people that got invited to the event were all gung-ho about it when they got back. I mean, they were pretty positive when they got back from the event. They were pretty positive in those early days. I swear I saw an article saying another artist is accusing them of stealing art for Halo. Did you see that? No, I didn't see that, no. Yo, what's good, Mash? We haven't seen you in a while. What's Mash saying? He's talking to some people here. Feel the same way about Fable, Perfect Dark. What are you guys talking about? Oh, RPGs. Okay. When did 5.4 become 5.6? You're so cruel and unfair, Lona, reporting facts and being glad the truth is coming to light. Yeah, there was plenty of streamers that came back from the event that were super gung-ho about Marathon. Like, they were all about it. They were pumped. I don't know. I don't think everybody... If people are going to try to claim there was some vendetta or some, movement against the game before it even had a shot, that just isn't true. And Metanoia comes in with 2 months and bumps the line to 485. And we have this new contest, guys. Whoever hits it gets it. So the next milestone is 400. And a 50 bomb. And a 50 bomb comes in from MASH. And he says, I'm back home, boys. Well, we'll see if MASH and Pathalon Phoenix can have a bit of a contest, because now there's not much of a contest between the platforms. 435. And then this jumps to 65 to 11. Sorry, Twitch. MASH is back in town. You guys, Twitch, you almost won yesterday. It was interesting. It was interesting. Pathalon Phoenix made it a little uninteresting, though. He dropped that 50 bomb, and they kind of ran away with it. Oh my gosh. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Twitch, if you guys can sort it out, we'll see. Good golly. Close that. Okay. I have a Twitch army. We've got a MASH, right? We have an army. We're going to do a hype train. It's like, we have a MASH on YouTube. Sorry. Twitch had one chance yesterday and they lost it. I don't know. Pathalon Phoenix probably wouldn't have let them win, though. If they would have pulled ahead, he'd have done it again. He's been so generous. That guy's a madman. We had him in the first half. You did. Hilly says, I hope the Chrome browser breaks all day. That's not funny, Hilly. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and smash that like button. We're discussing all kinds of different subjects today. The Borderlands 4 price, Stellar Blade 2, Naughty Dog's next game. Somebody said I was cruel to Bungie. There's a lot of things going on today. Do you think we see more of that game, Annihilation, at the Summer Game Fest next month? The game looks pretty good. We don't have a release date yet for it, so I'm thinking that, yeah, you would have to do something. You know what I mean? I currently owe YouTube 15. I'm gonna wait until we get that I owe you guys 20. So remember, again, the competition is whoever hits it gets it. Like MASH's 50 bomb has finally settled down. So when this hits 450, whoever makes it do that, like Twitch could get it if it's like, let's say it's at like 449 and Twitch does a single. They get the gifteds. That's the new game that we've been playing, is just like a fun competition. So we've had some pretty funny moments where people have snuck in and stole it at the last second. So 436 now. Thank you for the single coming in from my man Joker Quinn, the king, the absolute king of the single gifteds. Thank you, sir. I always knew you was a villain. Sometimes I feel like I'm in like a Batman comic because that's the only universe where I could be a villain. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm doing things with a computer. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no universe. There is not a place where I could be an actual villain. There's no way. Nobody would believe it. Be like, that guy? Agent Drake comes in with 25 months. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? People have Lono derangement syndrome. They really, truly do. You know, they're like, that guy, oh, I hope he loses everything again. It's like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry that me sitting in a chair and talking is so hard for you to ignore. And a single gifted comes in from DK Bager. Thank you so much. There are some absolute, like, bottom of the barrel, just trash human being loser content creators out there, right? There's an ocean of content creators, so you know that there are some that are they're just horrible. You know what I mean? You know what I do? I don't pay any attention to them. I don't pay any attention to them. It's easy. You just don't watch them. Like, oh, well, this person's a piece of trash. You just close the browser. You know? At best, you're wearing hockey pants. It's pads. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Yo, 2 singles come in from Stone Spire. I know what Stone Spire's doing. This guy is sneaky. We are now a 10 bomb away. We are now a 10 bomb away. That doesn't add up right over there, though. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we're a 10 bomb away from 450. Stone Spire's trying to bait somebody into doing it. Iron pants? No, he says, I'm not wearing hockey pads. What the frick are hockey pants? Thank you for the 100 bits of stream cheer over here. It's you're wearing hockey pads? No, that's not the line. They say, what's the difference between you and us? And he goes, I'm not wearing hockey pads. Like, that's the line. There's no such thing as hockey pants. It's hockey pads. The guy's literally wearing, like, goalie padding. What is happening right now? You guys don't know the line? Like hockey trousers? Yeah, they're out here wearing hockey trousers? What are hockey trousers? It's I'm not wearing hockey pucks. There are 100% hockey pants, but the line is pads. Yeah, but I don't think anybody would say hockey pants. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would. A single gift that comes in from Joker Quinn, and then Butters renews for 42 months in a VIP, says, whose line is it anyway? Thank you so much. And that's going to add to 2 on the total. And then it adds to 2, but then it's going to jump to 71 to 72 because another renewal comes in from Denver. 4 months of memberships from Denver. Thank you so much for renewing over here. Yeah, I mean, you could also say there's a hockey shirt because they wear shirts, but you would probably say jersey. I guess you would say pants. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say hockey pants. You would just say it's part of their jersey. It's like it's a whole thing. I mean, you could technically say it. I don't think, number one, he doesn't say it, and number two, I don't know how many times people have said hockey pants. You know what I mean? You'd be like, you need to get a jersey. Pure Hockey Elite Hockey Pants. There you go. They call them that when you go to buy them. They're hockey pants. And it looks like a giant diaper. Do hockey players do you guys just go to the bathroom when you're out on the ice? I'm not wearing a hockey jock strap. That was originally the line, and they changed it. They decided that it didn't sound quite as good. Mash says, you could totally pass for a villain until they see you swinging your feet and not touching the floor when seated. I'd be like at the computer desk and like, yeah, and I like turn in my chair and I'm just like, like he's not really scary now, you know? I don't get down from the chair. I like hop down from the chair. Anyway, the line is pads. Yeah, I'm not wearing hockey pads. Yeah. You do the $1 million. No, I'm not doing that. We're not talking about any of the topics. Guys on YouTube, real quick, we're going to need some help today. We're going to need some help. Take a quick second to make sure you hit like. Let's try to get to 200. We need it. We need it. News cycle is dry, boys. We're literally doing news shows about tweets. We're doing news shows about the tweets of CEOs. I mean, bad out here, boys. I'm buying the wishful thinking edition. Oh, yeah, because people were saying, oh, yeah. Anybody that predicted these games were coming to PS5 were made fun of. And now we'll just all ignore that, you know. I got a DM from somebody. Recent comments made by Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford are rubbing potential Borderlands 4 players the wrong way ahead of the title's launch. Okay, back to the tweets. Yeah, yeah, it's Pro Enhanced. Yeah, people already found Hellblade 2 in the store, in the PlayStation storefront. It's PS5 Pro Enhanced. I'm assuming they're going to probably be able to figure out 60 FPS because, I'm assuming with what the PS5 Pro excels in, which is advanced ray tracing, which is the PSSR for the resolution, if they can use that to get headroom, they might be able to get a 60 FPS performance mode in there. I will not be buying it. I will not be playing it. I won't. There was a guy this morning who jumped on my tweet about it, and he was like, you said you wouldn't play 30 FPS games, but you're playing Revenge of the Savage Planet. And it's like, okay, first and foremost, I bought it before I knew that, and I couldn't get my money back. And so I thought I wanted to play it with my mate, and I can play it through PC Game Pass and get 60 FPS. It, by the way, doesn't run that great on PC either, but I was at least going to get my money's worth. I can't get my money back. I bought it for my PS5 to play with my wife. I didn't know it was a 4K 30 game. What do you want me to do? Buy it, find out it's 30, and then just grump about it? Like, people are so stupid. It's like, well, yeah, I don't knowingly buy 30 FPS games. The last game I made an exception for was Hellblade because I love the first game, so I played Hellblade 2 on my PC because I simply did not want to miss out on the sequel of my all-time favorite game. Hellblade 1 is my all-time favorite game. I absolutely love it. You couldn't refund it? No, I'm not going to go through the headache of refunding on PlayStation. I've never tried it. I'm not going to do it. And they could patch it, and then I'll play it with my wife when they patch it. So I figured I would wait. I thought maybe it was a mistake. I thought maybe there'd be, an update, a patch, or something within the first week. And then they just confirmed on Twitter that, no, it's 4K 30. And I was like, well, whatever. Hopefully they update it, and if they do, I own it. But I certainly wasn't going to not play it with Hilly when he pointed out, he's like, well, just play it through Game Pass. He's like, you still have Game Pass because my kids still use it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just play it on PC. I get refunds from PlayStation all the time, even after I download it. I give a sob story and boom, I get it. Yeah, I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to go through the headache of doing that. And then a week later or a month later, they would update it and they would have it. And I'd be like, well, now I got to go get it again. I just figured I would wait. Yo, Mile High, thank you so much for gifting a member. Oh, look at that. The next one will put us at 445. Thank you so much, Mile High. Refunding is a pain, says Emissary. My 1.5 year bought a game by accident on my PS5. It took 5 days to get my money back. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't have time for that kind of crap. Like, I'll just wait. Like, and the hope would be they'll add it because as far as I can tell, and Wired Rope gifts a 5-bomb. Oh, boy. And VIP comes in from Mile High. Oh, no. Oh, that's unfortunate timing. Because Twitch, you got us to 449, but then Mile High renewed, and then Perfect Image renewed, and then Hex gifted. I can't count yours Perfect Image because it's a member light. You got to upgrade to Member Plus if you want it to count. That was a good bet. That was a good bet, Mile High. Wire Rope tried. I'm sorry. Yeah, Wired Rope tried to get it for Twitch. He tried to bet that somebody was setting it up. He thought I bet you Wired Rope thought another single was coming in. He took the bait. You guys are messing with each other. Let's see here. And then another gift that comes in from Joker Quinn. Thank you so much. Hang on. I gotta fix the totals here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I gotta add 4 to Twitch's total. And then I gotta add I got to add 5 over here. Wired rope, keeping Twitch in the fight. Keeping Twitch in the fight over here. 76 to 17. I now owe YouTube a 20 bomb. 4:45 on a Wednesday. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to start working on stretch goals. We're going to start working on stretch goals for you guys. So I think the first one we play, we'll get dual perspective set up for Linked, Banner of the Spark. Madam and I will play that for you guys on Friday, and then we can start adding other ones. We did Blindfold Doom. I don't know what else we could come up with. Hoping that Hellblade 2 gets a PS5 60 FPS mode. If they just bring over the version of Hellblade 2 that is sitting on the Series X right now, it won't be. You will probably only be able to get 60 FPS on the Pro, and that's if they go in and do something to give it to you. If they do a mode that leans on PS5 Pro technology, because I don't know how they would give it to you otherwise. It's sitting as a 30 FPS game right now on the Series X. That's a pretty strong console. I don't think you're going to get it unless they did the work for it. And a $10 super chat from Mile High says, "Sorry, Wired Rope. I was just doing what I can, trying to do all the things, but having trouble with coffee again this month. Same as last month. Just a heads up." Wait, what do you mean you're having trouble with coffee? Is it not letting you order, Mile High? We fixed all that stuff. Is anybody else having issues ordering coffee? Yeah, it says it's PS5 Pro Enhanced, but that could be anything. That could be a bump in res. That could be... Upgrade your plan to enable checkout rates. You are currently subscribed to the basic plan, which does not support displaying rates at checkout. Please upgrade to a higher plan to enable this feature. Creature, are you around? Can he hear me? I thought we fixed this. It looks like we've been downgraded again. It's not recognizing your address again. Yeah, our shipping solution looks like we've been downgraded again. We upgraded. They had us on something, and we upgraded. And now it's saying we're not on the right thing. I don't even know. I'll ping him. Hang on. What's wrong with a locked 30 FPS? It's not 2010 anymore. That's my answer. It's 2025. 60 FPS is standard. Your game's not feature complete if it ships to consoles now and it's locked at 30. That's not a feature complete game. I'm sorry. It isn't. People don't like me saying ship at quality, which is something Phil Spencer said. When I say that, they get confused. They don't understand what it means. They have to go grab, a dictionary and a thesaurus. And like, what's a shorter word for quality? Oh, good. So I'll just start saying feature complete. That's not feature complete. You're shipping a game to consoles that are capable of 60, like zero problem hitting 60 consistently. How many games do we have right now that are capped at 30? How many? You can count them on, you don't even need your thumb. You don't even need your thumb. You count on one hand without your thumb. It's like 3 or 4 games maybe this entire generation. That's not a feature complete game. It isn't. It is not. Like Revenge of the Savage Planet, there's no excuse. Oh, they're a small dev studio. I don't frickin' care. That should have been their priority from moment one, is 60 FPS. Nobody is going to look at your game and say, well, it's not feature complete because it doesn't have a 4K ray tracing mode. Nobody's saying that. Base level performance expectation is 60 FPS now. It is. That's what people expect. So if you're like, well, yeah, but we set our sights on 4K and really cool reflections and shadows. I don't freaking care. Nobody was promised that in every game. We were basically given the assurances and the assumption that these would be 60 FPS machines. That's what we were told. And if you're not hitting that, then you prioritize the wrong things, my friend. I don't care what the size of your studio is. I don't. That doesn't have any bearing on my decision making as a consumer. Are you going to go watch a movie that like the sound cuts out half the time and you're like, well, it's okay, they were a small studio who made the movie? No, like 30 FPS is a deal breaker. It looks terrible. It feels terrible. The game looks stuttery. The game looks blurry. I can't do it. Anybody who's used to 60 can't do it. Everybody acts like I'm being hyperbolic and exaggerating, but they all know it's true. Once you've gotten accustomed to 60 and you try to go play 30, you can't do it. It's awful. It's awful. It looks like something's wrong. It genuinely looks like something is wrong with the game. It doesn't look right. You're like, oh my gosh, is something... My wife does not notice these things. She doesn't. She's not like a gamer, capital G gamer. She's a gamer. She can game. She'll play with me. She's great. You guys got to see her play Doom the other night. But I'm here to tell you, when we booted up Revenge of the Savage Planet, she's like, I don't even notice these things. And she's like, and I can tell that it's not right. Because she's accustomed to 60 now. She's played too many games. She saw me playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. She played Hogwarts Legacy for 62 hours. And even she could tell. She was like, it doesn't look good. She was like, it looks blurry. She said, it looks like it's skipping is the word that she used. I don't know what people want. I mean, you know what I mean? Listen, if you can tolerate 30 and you've never really bumped up from it and you run all your games at quality mode, or you got an older television, or you're still gaming on a PS4 or an Xbox One X, man, God love you. But the rest of the industry has moved the frick on. We have moved on. And, the big question about GTA 6, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't care. My backlog is going to be so enormous by the time that game comes out. If I have to skip it because it's 30, that's not going to bother me one lick of a second. I'll be like, that's fine. I got so many other games to play. African Jedi comes in with a sub on Twitch, man. Thank you so much. Bumping the line to 18. Like, I'm not upset at the person who asked the question. Like, I don't hear my passion and my fervor being directed at you. I just can't believe this is a discussion like 5 years into this gen. I cannot believe this is a discussion. It's bizarre to me. Yo, what's up? Glad you're back on Twitch. Thank you. If you guys are not aware, I did get my Twitch channel back about a month ago. If you pay for Amazon Prime every month, you can give your Twitch Prime sub to me every month on Twitch. It's not automatic. Like you have to do it on your own. You have to do it on your own. You can't have it do it automatic. So I miss morning coffee. What's good, Rose Girl? You have to wait for the 60 FPS version of GTA 6 on the PS6. It's fine. I have too many games in my backlog to waste my time with a game that I view as not being feature complete. Your game isn't complete if it ships like that. What? Well, it's 4K 30. You forgot about the mode that more people choose. More people choose the performance mode now, according to Cerny and Sony's own research. Unless they're lying, I don't know why they would lie about that. Hey, we're giving you the ability to pick 60 now because more people pick 60. That doesn't sound like a lie. That sounds like we're trying to give you what the consumer wants decision. They're not like selling me a patch for 60 because people want 60. They're saying people choose this more often than not. It's a big priority. And that's why I trust that first-party studios from PlayStation are always going to have that as an option. Rockstar won't release a game locked at 30. They upgraded GTA 5 to 60 and online. Yeah, I've tried to tell people that they clearly are going back and trying to figure out how to do it with their older games. It's a shame they've never done it for Red Dead. It's a real shame they've never done it for Red Dead. There's rumors that one was going to come, but I don't know about that. If you want casuals to experience the difference in frame rate, set their phone display to 120 initially and then change it to 60 without them knowing and see if they notice it. I stand with the 60 FPS crowd. If GTA is 30, I'm skipping. Yeah, I have too many games in my backlog. It's not like I'm like dying to get in there, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I've been accused of grifting because I've never been a big GTA guy and I've covered the game and I've done waiting rooms. That's not grifting. I don't think people actually know what grifting is. it's the biggest game in like this generation. It's probably going to be one of the biggest games in history, but you're not supposed to cover it unless you're a diehard fan. Like, the gatekeeping of coverage is hilarious. Like, yeah. Like, you know what grifting is? Grifting is constantly having to use other people's content so that you can make fun of them, so that, you know, that you have any ounce of relevancy. That's grifting. Like, the irony of covering a game that you're not an enormous fan of grifting. Wild. 2 singles coming in from Stone Spire. I know what Stone Spire's doing. He's the master. He is the master. We are now 20 away from the next milestone. Whoever hits it gets it. So whoever makes that hit 475, you guys get the gifts. There we go. You're now officially 60 behind Twitch. The villain. That's it. There I am. That's so stupid. You can't be a fan of everything in the news. That's ultra stupid. Yeah, like I did trailer waiting rooms and stuff. It was like, it's a huge game. It's a huge moment. Like, waiting for trailer 2 was a big deal. We had rumors. We had people talking about it. And because I was on... This is what's so funny. Being honest with your audience is now grifting. Like, I was honest with my audience, and I was like, I'm not a really big GTA guy. I don't even know how much I'll play the game when it comes out. I certainly won't play it if it's 30. And they call that grifting. Grifting is the opposite of that. It's like you would pretend to be a fan. You would pretend to be this huge fan, and that's what it is. Like, you act like you're interested in something that you're actually not interested in. You've been talking a lot about Marathon. I don't think you're a big fan of Marathon either, you grifter. That's right. That's right. Starfield should be announced next for PS5 with Pro Enhancement, says Detective Seeds. So Seeds is saying Starfield is next now that they've announced Hellblade. PlayStation Stars is coming to a close as SIE evaluates new ways to evolve future loyalty program efforts. Isn't that something that they were already getting rid of, or is that the thing we've all been using? What's this thing that I click on called? Oh no, PlayStation Stars. Yeah, they're getting rid of it. They're probably getting rid of it because it feels so pointless. I literally just go in and buy gift cards like every couple of weeks or months or something. No way they did. Hellblade 2 was officially announced today, yes, and it's going to be PS5 Pro Enhanced. And so Detective Seeds is now saying that they're going to be getting a Starfield announcement soon. Train with 21 months. Glad to be back. Starting a new job. Yo, good to see you, Train. Yeah, Train, you said something in the other stream on YouTube, and I didn't get a chance to read it. It looked like you were sharing something, and I'm sorry I didn't read that. Something about getting laid off. I don't know if you were telling the story or if it's something that recently happened. You'll skip masterpieces like Bloodborne or other older games because most 60 FPS. That's how one finds the fake gamers, and you just failed the test. I failed your made-up arbitrary test? Okay, well, you're not a real gamer if you haven't played Operation Wolf on Christmas morning with your dad, and then also wore a blindfold while playing it later to have fun with your brothers. You're not a real gamer. Ha! Ha! Fake gamer. You failed my made-up, completely arbitrary gamer test. Frickin' weirdo. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I have standards, and I don't like certain games either. Like, back when Bloodborne came out, I never would have played one of those games. I would now if it was at 60, because Sekiro is one of my all-time favorite games. I think it's the best melee-based combat system that I've ever touched. But I won't go back and play Bloodborne, no, because it's 30. I have no interest in that. It looks terrible. 30 FPS looks terrible. What's going on with the coffee? Okay, the plugin we use for shipping for the coffee got purchased by another company, so it looks like they broke something. Operation Wolf, those were the days. I know these young bloods that probably don't even know what Operation Wolf is saying that I failed a gamer test. It's like, Son, I was playing games before you were probably even a twinkle in your daddy's eye. Like, you're going to try and pull my gamer cred. Shut the frick up. Like, your gamer test, you're a fake gamer. What? Lono, can you go more in on the Stellar Blade news, new game? They've officially confirmed they're doing a sequel. It was in one of their financial reports, and it'll be out before 2027. I don't know how that's possible. I really don't. I don't know how that's possible. Like, that's like 2 years, maybe, of dev time? Maybe? I mean, I don't know. Like, what Spider-Man 2, Forbidden West, and Ragnarok were all like 3 to 4 years of dev time. I don't know. I really don't know how in the world Shift Up's going to build another entire game in 2 years. Unless their dev cycle's quick, because the game is well, no, it's not a boss rush. Some of the areas were pretty big. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. That seems incredibly fast. They already had it in the works. Maybe. We're using a lot of assets. Say that again. Got a whole lot of assets to use. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I felt like that was really quick. You know, we'll see. We'll see. That came from their financial report. I have actual taste. I'm not a gamer now. Yeah, like imagine you missed out on a game from way back then, right? You've been playing, like, I've been playing games since the dadgum Coleco and going to the arcade with my dad. Like, that's how I've, like, literally watched my dad play the classic green wireframe Punch-Out at the arcade. And I grew up playing games like River Raid, you know, and Mousetrap and everything, and Frenzy, you know. Those are the games I grew up playing. But, like, you can miss games. Like, I missed all the Metal Gear Solids because I was an Xbox guy, I was a Nintendo guy, I was a PC guy. I was never a PlayStation guy. I'm not going to go back and play those games now and be like, well, I'll suffer through low res, low FPS because these are considered masterpieces. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not. I'm sorry if that hurts your fifis, but it's like, my preferences and the way I like the game, I can't go back. I just can't do it. When I play old games and I deal with old performance, I check out really, really quickly. Thank you so much for the tip over here on Twitch. Willy Wonka said, it's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Thank you. It hurts my fifis. I'm dying to play Bloodborne at 60 FPS. What's really interesting too is to act like that's against my gamer cred or whatever. When the big time Bloodborne fans are always asking for a 60 FPS patch. They know. They're like, yes, it'd be great. Hang on. Oh, fill out the form here. Hang on, I got another email I gotta flag so that I check it out later. 30 FPS hurts my fifis. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yo, can we get 13 more likes on YouTube? We're a little behind on the likes, guys. We gotta pump those numbers up. Well, your reaction just now is why Randy saying real was a problem. Oh, no, and I admitted that. I think if you take the word real out of his sentence, out of his tweet is far less problematic because you can't read it in as negative of a way. It's like he's not saying, you know, you're not a real fan. He's just like, man, if you're a fan of the game, you'll figure it out. I still think people would have said, oh, so I'm not a fan of the game? If I can't afford it or I can't buy it, people still would have gotten upset. What other game do you think Naughty Dog's working on alongside Intergalactic? The way that Neil Druckman was speaking to Colin Moriarty, I got to upload this file to Creature. the way that Neil Druckman was speaking to Colin Moriarty, I don't think they're presently working on. Why are there two? 6 seconds. Oh, that's right. There, 4:57. The way he was talking, I don't think it's The Last of Us. I initially thought it was The Last of Us because I thought, yeah, he's definitely because of what Shinobi said. Show open. What is today? 5/21/25. There you go. Show opens in frame. I initially thought it was The Last of Us Part 3. When Shinobi said it's not a small project, I thought, oh, it's TLU 3. But the way, if you listen to the way Neil Druckman's talking to Colin, I'm like, I don't think they're working on TLU 3 right now. But then there was that insider who corroborated, there was other people that were claiming that casting work had already been done and they had already done some like recording. And then that guy that gets all the leaks about the TV shows and stuff, he got that leak and said the same thing. He said that he had heard they had already done casting for TLU 3 and they had already done some recording. I'm like, well, okay. So I don't know. Also, I kind of agree with Nicola on Twitter said that Neil Druckman would not be a producer. He would not be a producer on TLU 3. He would be directing it. And I think that that's probably correct. So it could be, again, Nicholas speculated Uncharted. Again, I feel like Neil made it very clear they're done with Uncharted, but then there's the rumored Cassie Drake game that's coming. So maybe they view that as a reset of the story or something, because he said they were able to put their final brushstrokes on it. I'm like, I don't know what it could be. Another new IP is possible. Somebody said they're already working on the Intergalactic sequel. I mean, maybe, because Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, I could see them doing like 3 games of Intergalactic with different names, and they focus on a different character each time. So the Heretic Prophet is either going to be about you, the main character, or whoever you're going after. And then the next game could be, the disappearing priest or something, or the vanishing priest, and you're trying to figure out who that is, or you play as that person, whoever, takes on that moniker within like the religious sort of typography of the game. Like they're doing some religious stuff with the game. So I don't know. They never said they were done with Uncharted just with Drake. That's false. That's not true. No. I'll read you the quote, because I specifically quoted this in another video that I did about TLU 3. He was very, very firm in what he said about Uncharted. He was very firm. It was strong language. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we're done with Drake. It was like, no, we're done. Let's see if I can find the exact quote. No. Because he says, like, we were able to put our final brushstroke on that. We're done. We're moving on. Like, it was strong language. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm done with Drake. He says, for us, Uncharted was insanely successful. Hang on. Let me get it on screen for you. These websites are terrible with their ads. Everything gets reshuffled around. I don't know where I was. Here we go. He says, for us, Uncharted was insanely successful. Uncharted 4 was one of our best-selling games, and we were able to put our final brushstroke on that story and say that we're done. We're moving on. Now, again, if we get really, really silly here, it was their final brushstroke on that story. So, again, the Cassie Drake story could be, in his mind, a new story. So they want to start over or something and start again. But that's literally like Uncharted 5. That's picking up where Uncharted 4 left off. So sure, you could say that story, but to say we're done, we're moving on, I don't know. For him to have the wherewithal back then to be like, And for everybody to run with it, and that was how everybody interpreted his comments. Everybody interpreted his comments as meaning that Naughty Dog is done with Uncharted. They're not going to do any more Uncharteds. That was a long time ago. That's true. That you're correct. They could have changed their minds. They could have changed their minds. You know? Lost Legacy was very good, and that didn't have Drake. Guys, thanks for getting the 200 likes over here on YouTube. I appreciate it. We're about an hour into the broadcast. The friendly competition's still going on. Even though you guys fall behind Twitch, don't worry. Whoever hits it gets it, and the next milestone's 475. You can steal those gifted members from YouTube if you help us get there. There is no TLU 3. Complete Edition's already out. I mean, that I think is a fair and logical way to think about it. Like, why would they come out with something called the Complete Edition? But you can't take that hard line of a stance on it, because Neil Druckman just did an interview with Colin Moriarty at Sacred Symbols and literally is leaving the door open to a TLU 3 existing. It could totally happen. So I don't think they've closed the door on it. They've not closed the book on it. They haven't. And I don't think the Complete Edition signals that, because if the Complete Edition signals that, then that's what Neil Druckman would say. He would say, we've decided that that's done. That's why we're shipping the Complete Edition. If it's even up to them. He said they had no story. He said they had a concept for TLU 3. At the end of the documentary, he said it took him a long time, and he still didn't have a story, but he had a concept that he thought would work. It could be its own thing. I've speculated that thing would be the baby all grown up, and you would play as that kid. You'd play as like a 20-something, 18 to 20-something guy, and you'd have flashbacks of growing up with Ellie and Dina, and he would be repeating the cycle because something would happen to them. Something would happen to Dina, and something would, maybe just Dina. Something would happen to Dina, and then he'd go out with maybe Ellie, but Ellie'd be too old or something. I don't know. That wouldn't work, though, because Ellie would only be in her 40s, roughly. That concept should never see the light of day. That's just a theory. He said he had something that would be its own thing, but would maintain the story through line. The only way you maintain the story through line is if you play as Ellie, Abby, or the kid all grown up. You wouldn't be able to just grab a random person. You would need the story through line to be there. In order for it to be called The Last of Us Part 3, you need that story through line. And he told Colin, he's like, for it to be like, worthy of the name, to be The Last of Us, it would need to be a very good story. Yo, MTO with 27 months says, MASH! How excited are you for Jack and Daxter reboot if that's the Naughty Dog game? I wouldn't be excited for that at all. Those kind of games are not my cup of tea. I wouldn't. And 457, but then whoops. And then 458. Thank you so much. Benji768 over here on Twitch, subscribing with your Prime. I appreciate it, you guys using your Primes on me. That's so kind. It's 79 to 20 in the contest. I mean, if Jack and Daxter came back and it was at like the quality of like Ratchet and Clank, I would probably play it. It would need to be... I just don't have any attachment to those games. I'm like... If you don't have nostalgic attachment to those types of games like Banjo-Kazooie, Jack and Daxter, stuff like that. Like, I have a nostalgic attachment to Mario, so anything that comes out with Mario in it, I get it. And there's a lot of you that don't feel that way about Mario. You see what I'm saying? Like, I have a long-standing history with Mario. I don't have a long-standing history with titles like, Banjo-Kazooie, Jack and Daxter, stuff like that. I'm just like, your kids would definitely play it, though. Oh, yeah, for sure, they would. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't have attachments to some of those franchises. I don't. Ben J7688 768 says, thanks for letting us know about the Prime subscription. I'd rather you have it than letting it sit there. Yeah, if you're paying for Amazon Prime every month, that Twitch Prime sub is just sitting there not doing anything if you're not using it. Use it on somebody. It doesn't have to be me. Just make sure it gets used. A modern Jak and Daxter would be awesome. I loved Astrobot. I loved Ratchet and Clank. I have space in my gamer preferences for games like that are more like from the classic era of like platforming, adventure, stuff like that. So I'd probably be excited if it felt modern, but I'm not sitting here like pining for that. Does that make sense? I'm not like, oh man, that'd be amazing, because I just don't have an attachment to it. I'm just being honest. I don't know if that makes me, you got to decide, does that make me like a grifter or a tourist? You know, which internet dirty word are they going to use for me being like, I'm not attached to Jak and Daxter. I don't have a nostalgic attachment to it, right? I'm just being honest. Hellblade 2, your thoughts on it coming to PS5? It makes perfectly good sense. Hellblade 1 was an exclusive on PlayStation for a while, so there's probably a pretty big audience that's looking for that would want to get it. I won't get it. I'm not interested. I really disliked that game. It was a massive disappointment. Hellblade 1 is like my all-time favorite game, and that sequel is it's such a regression. It's such a step backwards. The only thing that's better is the graphics and the lighting. Everything else about it stinks. The puzzles aren't as good. Combat's not as good. The story's not as good. The only thing that's better is the lighting and like the graphics. Melina Juergen's acting is on point once again, but even she can't carry that just not interesting story. I personally thought that both Hellblade 1 and 2 were mediocre. There are people that did not vibe with Hellblade 1. It hit me hard, and I've played through it like 3 or 4 times. So, I don't think I'll ever play Hellblade 2 ever again. I have no desire. It's just the combat feels so awful. I mean, it's awful. I can't believe people gave it a pass on how they designed the combat. It blows my mind that modern day gamers who have played something like Hellblade 1 or Ghost of Tsushima or God of War or I don't know, anything with like modern third-person melee-based combat, I don't know how any of those people that have touched and experienced some of the greatness in those games doesn't see how just awful the combat is in Hellblade 2. It is terrible. It's terrible. I'm at a loss for words on how people gave it a pass. I believe this, and this is probably true of some of the journalists who thought it was great. I don't think they realize that they're bad at games. Like, if you go from like Hellblade 1 or like Sekiro or like Tsushima to that game, you should be like, yo, I'm not doing anything. It's a glorified QuickTime event. What is this? That part about that game to this day blew my mind. Like, hardcore Xbox guys, they couldn't believe that I was saying it was a glorified QuickTime event. I'm like, oh, so you're just really bad at games. You can't tell that you're not really in control. You are literally responding to pre-captured animations, and as long as you hit the button at the right time, you trigger your own pre-captured animation. It's so stupid. It's dumb. It's the worst. I think it's probably the worst combat system I've ever had to experience. It's so bad. The fact that people glossed over that and wanted to make this like a console tribalism thing. I'm like, what the huh? It had nothing to do with that. It was my most anticipated game that year. I consistently talked about it, consistently talked about how much I was looking forward to it. But because I was critical of Xbox up to that point, all the Bleed Green guys were just like, yeah, you can keep pinky pony. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, that was the most frustrating thing about it. Having to listen to the sniveling console tribalists who just couldn't see what that game was. It was like, this is such a disappointment. It's such a step back. They fell in love with the technology. They became enamored with the technology, and that's all they focused on. It's like, well, we did a motion capture for every single thing that happens in combat. And it's like, Instead of thinking about whether or not that you could, you should have thought about whether or not if you should. Ian Malcolm, like, what are we doing here? That doesn't make for a good combat system. I think some people just don't critique games to that degree. They just take games for what they are. I try to do that if it's a new game, but not a sequel. Not a sequel. Imagine booting up Ghosts of Yotei and there are no stances. Imagine. There aren't any stances. They strip it down and they make it more simplistic, and they did motion capture for a lot of the attacks. So it's it plays like Hellblade 2's combat. You would be justifiably livid as a Ghost of Tsushima fan. You'd be like, what did you guys do? This is a regression. Why did you do this? You didn't evolve the game. You didn't enhance the game. You took 8 steps backwards. If you played Hellblade 1 and then you played Hellblade 2, to act like the combat system was not an enormous step backwards, I have a hard time believing that person's being honest. I mean it. I'm not accusing anybody of lying, but it's super hard for me to take anybody serious who played Hellblade 1 and didn't see how horrible Hellblade 2's combat was. It was a significant step back. It was a significant step back. PlayStation gamers are thrilled. They created the ultimate walking simulator. A $5 super chat tip from P-Dub H-Town says, Hellblade 2 was Xbox's The Order 1886, glorified tech demos that lacked everything besides visuals. I forgot to set the super chat goal. Hang on a second. I will gift a member. There we go. Speaking of good combat mechanics, are you playing Blades of Fire on launch? I tried the demo. The game's combat and crafting are awesome. It didn't score as high as I thought it was going to with the audience. They sent me a code and I could play early. I could have played today or tomorrow. I played their demo and gave them tons of praise, and my video is going to perform better if I don't play again. I could play again for you guys, but I'm not going to do like another official stream because our stream of it is going to do very well. Like, I don't want to step on that. You know what I mean? I don't want to step on that stream. It's going to start to pull up and get good external. It's already getting external. Like in the last 48 hours, most of its viewership is coming from external, and that's really good for us. So tomorrow it'll probably go like this and just pull up. I don't want to step on that. Like, I've already showcased the game and gave my thoughts, and so it's on the backlog right now until I finish Doom, and then I'm going to play Expedition 33. I got to tell you, Doom's open world areas, it's not it, boys. It's not it. Having to retread areas that are really, really big to go get a secret because I got a secret key, the purple key. They should not have done that. It is not good gameplay. The combat, I love it. Feels great. I know some people don't like the combat. I love Doom's combat. But the chung, 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 all the way back across the map because I got a key now. Homie, that is not it. That's not Doom at all. What the frick? I played that really big map last night. It's like 6th or 7th mission in, and having to retread areas that are open because I got a key and stuff. Homie, no, they shouldn't have done that. I remember when Eugene and others expressed concern when they said they were going to have like larger open areas if you want to explore. It doesn't work in Doom at all. It just doesn't. It's like, this isn't the game for this, bros. It's not. It's supposed to be a corridor boomer shooter with like little curated arenas to go, to go boom boom and jump around. And like Chapter 6, how often do they do that? I have had no major qualms up until last night. I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is stupid. You're just like trudging back across the map. Kung, 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 kung. And then you open a door to get a secret, you pick up the little thing, and you're like, I came all the way across the map for that? Like, what are we doing here? Like, it just doesn't, they shouldn't have done that. I don't think they should have. I think they got a little ambitious with like thinking that would be good. There's also weird noise pollution in the game on that map in particular. I guess they thought it would be really cool to have these two monsters fighting in the background, like on the like close to the coast. So the entire time I keep thinking I'm hearing like a monster is going to attack me, like a monster has spawned. And I'm like, oh, it's just those idiots fighting the entire time I'm here. So it just ends up feeling like noise pollution. Like, the sound design and the execution of sound in a game like Doom is incredibly important because it signals a fight's about to start. It signals somebody's on your left, your right, behind you, whatever. It's how you enact, intensity. It's how you establish threat or fear. And you got noise pollution. Just these idiots fighting throughout the entire time. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? It's distracting and annoying. So then I actually do hear a monster nearby, and I'm like numb to it. I'm like, I've been listening to these jackasses fight the whole time. It's stupid. They made some really dumb decisions. I like the combat. I like the game. But I'm like, man, you guys got misguided on some of this. You did. Lone Wolf coming in with 2 singles, and he bumps the line to 460. Thank you very, very much. Rounding us out. Getting us exactly 15 away from the next milestone. Whoever hits it gets it. I've already paid up the 20 that I owe YouTube. It took time for me to warm to the shield. Oh, I love the shield. I'm in such a flow state right now. I was struggling those first couple days. I'm blocking, I'm throwing, I'm meleeing. I'm getting in pretty intense fights and not getting hurt at all. I got that ball, the one that like shoots out the ball, and I upgraded it so that anytime I do a parry, it's supercharged. That is so fun. I fought like one of the bigger guys who has like the whip, and I parried, hit him with a fully charged ball. Parried, hit him with the fully charged ball. It felt great. There are really, really cool like little microcosmic rhythms you can get with certain enemies, and it feels really, really good. But then like I'm like having to, I don't know why they did this either. In that one in particular, when it's time to leave, I guess they did this because they didn't want you to like accidentally leave or end it before clearing the map. You literally like chung 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 walk all the way back out, chung 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 up a hill, chung 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 and into a hole, and that's how the mission ends. Like what? I love that they let you know you're about to go to a point of no return. Very helpful if you want to retread and look for secrets. I thought that was a very good idea. But the end of a Doom mission is supposed to be like, big explosion, whatever, and then you go hit the button or you go hit the door and you leave. And it's like, and then it's over. Not walking back. And then it was so weird. I was like, that's the end? I get why they did it. It's because they wanted you to know, oh, you're not done yet, but if you do this, you're done. You can go clear the map now if you want. I had already cleared the map. I got every secret. I got all the gold. I got all the hearts. And I was like, oh, I'll just go to the next waypoint. And then the mission was over. And then they showed a cinematic of the 2 guys fighting, and then I got my clear screen. Yeah, it was really, really bizarre. I think it's because that type of map design and that type of setup, I just don't think it works in Doom. So they were like, well, we don't want somebody to accidentally end the mission. So we've got to make it clear that it's over and they're leaving. So if they want to go and get any last minute secrets, they can. I get why they did it. It just doesn't play right. It's like, this is really weird. Yeah, and the music is so not it. Man, oh man. I don't know how you couldn't mimic. I don't know how you couldn't go back to Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 and really try to mimic the brilliance of Mick. You're not even close. Not even close. Didn't realize how important the score was. There's an element of adrenaline tied to the music. Like, I remember playing Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, and I would finish a room, and I'd have to, like, you take a breath. You know what I'm talking about. You're like, whew, you literally take a breath. You feel that element of like tiredness that you do like after you watch like a really intense movie or something. And the music plays a role. like that, and it starts and it starts and it starts and it goes up and up and up and up and it crescendos and the music's going crazy and you're going crazy and there's blood splatters and you need health and you need armor. You're like this pinball of destruction, and the music is just thumping and soaring, and then it drops and it's gone, it's done, they're dead. And you take a sigh like, with the game. That is not happening in Doom the Dark Ages. It just isn't. It's good, it's fun, but they are not at that peak of what you felt in Eternal in 2016. Doom the Dark Ages feels like classic Doom. It doesn't feel like 2016 and Eternal. That's what it is. It's more of a return to form. It's a departure from the evolution that they achieved with 2016 and Eternal. It feels like a return to classic Doom. Boots on the ground, strafey fight. It's very strafey fight. You're strafing. You're strafing and you're circling within sort of the tunnels of stuff getting shot at you. It almost creates like tunnels if you look at it that way. It's I like it, but I get why people are like, yo, this is not it. This is not peak Doom. You saying it's regressive? I think you could argue that it's regressive. Hang on, I gotta thank Dryadson. Thank you for 15 months of memberships. I hear great rumors of Steam coming to Xbox for $600. This should be a great thing over a $2,000 PC. Yeah, the Steam on Xbox thing has been an ongoing discussion, and obviously, I think it was Jez Corden who basically was like, listen, y'all, you guys are like trying to throw confetti in the air like you're gonna be able to play PlayStation games on an Xbox. PlayStation would probably block that, and I agree with Jez. They can and probably would block that. I don't care at all. I don't give a frick. I celebrated when Returnal and Tsushima went to PC because I want more people to experience those great games. Wouldn't bother me one bit if somebody was able to buy a hybrid Xbox in the future and play Tsushima. I wouldn't care a lick about that. I think PlayStation would care about that. Could there be a chance it's regressive intentionally since it's a prequel? Oh, it is intentional. No, yes. It's 100% intentional. It's a subversive way to communicate to you, this is the birth of the Slayer. It's the birth of the Slayer. It's him, and he's not in his final form yet. He's in his earliest form. So he's slowly amassing this arsenal of weapons, right? It's not like in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal where like you're this monstrous force of destruction and every weapon you find is just another extension of that. This is almost like, yeah, you're just getting started and you're literally building your arsenal. It just feels different in that regard. It's a very subversive way of communicating to the player, this is the birth of the Slayer. I love it. I love the art style, the aesthetic. I love the way he looks. I love the medieval feel, the shield, the flail, all of it. But it's arguably regressive, and I get why people aren't vibing with it. I get why people aren't vibing with it. I don't know. I feel like they could, but might not. Steam getting 30 and them getting 70 with Microsoft getting nothing. Sony would be looking at that extra money. I think it would be a brand optics thing, though, from PlayStation's perspective, because PlayStation's been very intentional with their PC strategy. Really dishonest and disingenuous people have misrepresented it and said, look, well, they're copying Microsoft. They're not. Herman Hulst outlined their strategy very specifically to shareholders because the shareholders are obviously interested. PlayStation's Sony's cash cow. So it's like, well, wait, what are you doing on the PC platform? They're very intentional with that strategy. The strategy is hoping that they want to get a sequel or another game in that franchise, and they'll come over to the console. That strategy gets immediately disrupted when somebody is essentially able to play PlayStation games on a console PC hybrid. That short circuits the entire plan. People on PC are like, well, we got to wait. So we'll go over there and buy the sequel. We'll go buy that console. But they'd be less inclined to do that if they're able to play PlayStation games on a console PC hybrid. They'd be like, well, I basically already have a console. I'll just wait. I believe that disrupts PlayStation's strategy and that they would therefore say, we're not okay with that. Our intention in bringing games like God of War to PC is to create a fan base on PC who would then consider buying our console in the future, because let's say PlayStation 6 drops and there's a God of War Egypt game. You better believe there's going to be people that are like, yo, Ragnarok kind of slapped. That Valhalla update was really dope. I'm not waiting. The PlayStation 6 is going to be able to hit really, really great performance thresholds, $700 or $800. I'm telling you, they're going to win that fight with people that are looking at like, do I upgrade my rig? My rig's getting older. The hardware reports make it very clear that most of the people on Steam do not have really strong rigs. Most of the people on Steam do not have really strong rigs. So it's a compelling offer to be like, you can play Yote and Death Stranding 2 this year and just wait until they start showing off the performance. Just wait until Digital Foundry does a breakdown of Death Stranding 2 on the PS5 Pro. It will be compelling to people that are in the middle of the hardware pack and down. People that are in the middle of the hardware pack on PC and down. It's a big group of people. The PC Master Race guys don't like this reality. They act like what I'm saying is absurd, but it's like just basic logic would tell you if you're at a mid-level rig and down, you're not going to be getting the performance that they're getting on the Pro in these games. You're not going to be able to run Horizon Forbidden West or Ratchet and Clank at the level that we're seeing. You're not going to be able to run Assassin's Creed Shadows at the level that we've seen on the Pro. You aren't. Your rig isn't strong enough. So you're in the midst of a decision at that point. If you want to get that level of performance and you want to get that level of appearance and all of that, you would say, I'm either going to upgrade my PC or I'm going to buy a Pro. Upgrading your PC could be the best option because you've got a huge library there. Maybe it won't cost you that much. Maybe it'll only be a couple of parts. A lot of the times upgrading your PC, if it's older and weaker, it's a cascade of upgrades. You can't just buy one piece. It's usually a domino effect. So a lot of those guys are going to say, Death Stranding 2 looks ridiculously good. Kojima's got a lot of pull in the industry. People were praising how beautiful Death Stranding 2 was on the base PS5 at the preview event. So when that thing hits on PS5 Pro and Digital Foundry does the breakdown and shows it off and the lighting and the reflections and the world and the draw distance and all of that, there are going to be people that say, 700's not bad, man. The graphics card scene is a mess right now. Cost of peripherals is a mess right now. I'm going to get that. An easier choice for some people. Not everybody, but I'm saying there are going to be people to do it. There will be. It's why PlayStation continues to report that they're getting new user acquisition. Those people are coming from somewhere. They're either disgruntled Xbox fans. They could be PC guys that are not leaving PC. That's the other thing I think gets lost in this discussion. I think people think that when I'm saying what I'm saying, that I'm saying like the PC people would leave PC behind. No, they would add it to their options of gaming. That's what Zubair has done. We've got a handful of guys in here that they main PC. They main it, but they added the PlayStation to their lineup of options because they wanted to play Ragnarok. PC's better. That's subjective. It's only better if it's better for you. It's only better if you've spent the money to make it better. If you look at the hardware reports, most people are not on a PC that's better than a PS5 or a Pro. They're not. Look at the hardware reports from Steam. I don't know, the whole PC's better thing doesn't make any sense to me. The majority of the PC user base on Steam is not on something that is quote-unquote better. So I don't know why you PC guys always invoke that as if it's just this axiom of truth. It isn't an axiom of truth. It's subjective to how much you have spent and what are your value points. If you're willing to drop the big bucks, it's better for you. Yes, PC is better for you. It's not better. It's not better if your PC's weaker. It's not better if your PC is in the mid-range and can't push all the stuff that the Pro can do. It isn't. It isn't better. You could make it better. Now, it could be better for you. It could be because that's where your library is. You like the freedom. You like indies. You like all the AA's. Steam is swimming in indies, right? That it could be better for you, even if you're not able to get the performance. Maybe you do have to turn some settings down. Maybe you do have to turn some features down. It still is better for you. The discussion always gets lost on these people that want to make like these these axioms of like PC's better, gaming on PC's better, mouse and keyboard's better. No, it's not. Like that you can't make statements like that. It might be better for you. Have you ever heard me say PS5 Pro and controller's better? No, because I'm not an insecure idiot. Like I don't talk like that. That doesn't make any sense. It's like it's what I prefer. I always speak in preference language. I'm like, yeah, I prefer. You'll hear me say this all the time. I prefer to game on my couch. I prefer console gaming. I prefer to game on a controller. I do. Have you ever heard me say that that's better? No, that's stupid. It would be stupid for me to say that. It's dumb. Because I know for other people, mouse and keyboard would be better. I did mouse and keyboard when I played games like Fortnite, but I didn't do mouse and keyboard when I played Destiny. Make sense of that one. Like, and a super chat from Super Googly. First super chat goal. As an owner of a 5090 PC and a PS5 Pro, I would say the Pro is a steal considering its performance at 1/6 of the price of my PC. Thank you for the super chat, Super Googly. I'm surprised people aren't making arguments about, oh, but if you get the Pro, you have to get a TV that can handle what the Pro can do if you don't already have one. I mean, the average TV that you buy from like a Target or a Walmart is going to be at the thresholds needed. It's hard to buy a TV right now that's not going to have what you would need. Right? Like you'd have to try. The average TV is going to be able to do what? 60 hertz, 4K, VRR. I don't know. Is VRR hard to find? I feel like that's standard now, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not a TV guy. I don't go and look at the TVs and shop based on features. You guys bought me a crazy good TV a couple of years ago, and I've never really thought about it after. It needs HDMI 2.0 for 120. Yeah, but the average person's not buying the Pro for 120. Like what he said was like to get the what did he say? To handle what the Pro can do. I don't know that many people are like, I'm going to get the Pro for 120 because 120 is not really the selling point of the Pro. VRR is common on mid-level and above televisions. Yeah, I don't know if you would like, you'd have to really, really step in it to buy a TV that's going to like not really let your Pro shine. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to buy like HDMI 2.1 is probably pretty common now, right? I mean, I'm just guessing. Again, I'm not the TV guy. I'm just assuming that you'd go to Target, Walmart, Best Buy, or whatever. You pick one of their TVs that's reasonably priced, not the cheapest. You're probably going to be fine. Even if you buy the cheapest. I don't know. I bought a Hisense TV from Costco for my second TV, and the Pro sings on it. It looks great. I have a $2,000 LG TV with 2.1 HDMI and 120 hertz. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if you need the 120 for the Pro to be. I should qualify. If you really want the 120 40 FPS modes that some people like in a couple of the games that do it, then yes. But again, does the average consumer even know about that? Are they like, oh yeah, I want that 120 hertz for 40 FPS mode? If you know about that, you're not going to buy the wrong TV, right? Do you get what I'm saying? If you are aware that 120 hertz 40 FPS modes are a thing, you're not going to buy the wrong TV. I would hope that you don't. You seem to be educated enough to not make that mistake. Right? I don't feel like I'm being presumptive here. The average consumer doesn't even know what we're talking about when we say 120 hertz. They'd be like, what's that? A Manuel with a $5 super chat tip says, I tried going from controller to keyboard and mouse. It's really hard. I grew up mouse and keyboard, so switching from controller to mouse and keyboard is very easy for me. I got right on the horse with Fortnite. It didn't bother me. But I would never play a first-person shooter on mouse and keyboard. I'm just too used to controller at this point. But for Fortnite, it made sense. For like the building and like the jumping and like pulling my shotgun, in a circle fight with somebody or something. It wasn't an issue for me. The only way you get the wrong TV is if you're a kid and knows about it and your parents who buys you the TV. Yeah, they get you the wrong one. Here's what's crazy about inverted. I'm going to really blow y'all's minds now. I play inverted on controller, but I don't play inverted on mouse and keyboard. Yeah. I'm a bit of a weirdo. I'm also ambidextrous. I do some things left-handed. I do some things right-handed. That's because you're a madman? Yeah. Absolutely insane. I don't know why. I don't know how it works that way. I can't explain it to you. You're such a weirdo. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Amber, what'd you call me? Yo, what's good, Pete the Greek? How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Isn't 120 hertz the FPS? It's the refresh rate of the monitor or the TV. It means that it can refresh that many frames, right? It can do 120 frames in a second. So it can refresh so that each frame shows up at the appropriate time without screen tearing and stuff. People are now doing 120 hertz 40 FPS modes. So it's a lower frame rate, so the game has an easier time doing it because 40 frames is easier to hit than 60. But the refresh rate's higher. So it's smooth. It looks smoother. Somebody can probably do a better tech explanation than what I'm doing. I'm giving you like the most layman understanding of it. The TV's refreshing faster, so the 40 frames look smoother than they would if it was like a 40 FPS on a 60 hertz setting. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're doing good. Thank you. I'm not the guy to ask about this kind of stuff, but that's the basic layman's explanation. It triples the frames. I don't think that that's true. No. I don't think a 120 hertz mode with 40 FPS triples the frames. I don't think you're getting 120 frames. It's not doing like an interpolation of the frames like FrameGen or something. It's not adding frames. 40 FPS on 60 hertz, you'd have judder because your frame timings get messed up because it's not divisible. 120 is divisible by 40, so that's why it works. The frame timing doesn't get thrown off. You can fit 40 frames. Yeah. We were running into that with OBS once or something. We were getting weird timings with the frames because of the refresh rate of the monitor or something. I can't even remember. That was a long time ago. By triple, he means it shows each frame for 3 refresh cycles. I've never tried it. I just assumed I wouldn't like it. I'm like, just give me 60. I don't want to have to fiddle with any of that, but I've never tried it. I don't even know what game I could try it in. I'm just assuming I would notice that it's not 60 and it would bother me. And that'd be the end of it. The frame has to be divisible by the hertz to work properly. Yes. Which is why that's what it was. We were having issue with 144 is what we were doing. I had like I was running games at 144 on a 144 monitor, but then my cap card could only do 60. So we were constantly getting these weird stutters and these weird situations with the frames. It was, I remember that now. That's what it was. We were streaming Destiny, and I would play Destiny at 144 on a 144 monitor, and my cap card would it just constantly had these weird stutters and hitches. It looked terrible. Finally, we figured it out. I remember the day I dropped the game to 60, and cap card 60, OBS 60, and everything looked smooth. I was like, oh my gosh. It was a night and day difference in fluidity and how smooth it looked. And now I stream everything at 60. I play everything at 60. I don't try to push past. It just causes issue with capture cards. You can get capture cards that are better at it, but then OBS is always going to drop everything down to 60. And I'm just like, given the trouble that I had, I'd rather just keep everything at 60 because not every game is going to give me 120 anyway. So I'm just like, I'm happy to always be at 60. To be like, oh, this game's 120 and this game's 60 and this is 120 and then these 3 games are 60. To constantly have to readjust, I just would rather just stay at 60 and not deal with some games doing 120 and some games not. So, can you believe we played Destiny 1 at 30 for so long? Oh, the FOV was so bad. Oh my gosh. Do you remember Donkey Kong? It was the Leviathan Raid hard mode. I think I've got this right. Leviathan hard mode dropped on console first. It hurt. I mean, I felt like my eyes were bleeding. It was terrible. It was so zoomed in. I felt like I was like up, you know when you do this at the aquarium, you like put your face up against the glass and you can't really see to the left or the right. I felt like I couldn't see anything. The FOV was so shallow in Destiny on console. It was like a 70 or something. A 70 FOV in a first-person shooter. Holy mackerel. Because I think most people hover in, on the low end, like 80s. But most people hover around, 80 to 90 and then go up to, some people go up to 100. If you go beyond 100, it starts to get like fisheye. Man. We didn't know any different, though. We didn't know any different. You prefer 103? That's such a specific number. 110 to 120 for me? Oh gosh. Yeah, that's like fisheye. That's like, that gives me like motion sickness. It just feels like the walls are just swooping past. I feel like I'm in the Death Star run or something. I think I did around 90 to 100 when I played Quake 3 Arena. Quake 3 Arena. And then I would turn all the textures off so it was easier to see people. Yeah, and I ran it at, I believe, 100 FOV, I think. Digital Foundry will crap on it regardless. We'll crap on what regardless? What are you talking about? New stretch goal, Doom with full FOV. Well, we're going to hit goal. So yeah, stretch goal will be Madam and I will play, we'll do dual perspective, linked banner of the Spark. We might not have to do dual perspective. It might have local co-op. Is it local co-op on Steam? Let's look. No, online co-op only. So it'll likely be online co-op as well on consoles. That launches this week. Keep an eye on that one. That one looks really, really fun. Linked banner of the Spark. That'll be our stretch goal this week. Because it's a lot of work for me to get that set up. I got to get like both the PlayStation set up and both the cap cards working. I got another monitor in here. So I usually make something like that a stretch goal because it's a bit of a pain to set up. But I'm happy to do it if we're working on those every week. That's an easy decision for me. Friday night streams are fun, but we that's extra content. That's not normal operation hours. Yo, Angry Pete with 16 months on Twitch. Thank you so much. Bumping the line to 462. The next milestone is 475. Thank you so much. 120 is more for competitive FPS games. You can see the most on your screen. Quake 3, you had to run a higher FOV because if you had to be able to see people in your peripheral. Yeah, like your rocket fights, you wanted to have the higher FOV for, your lightning gun. Have I been hitting you guys with ads all day on Twitch, on YouTube? Oh my gosh. None of you have complained. I completely forgot to pause it. You guys had tell me. I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. Figure it's part of the program. I've been trying to make them only hit every 45 minutes. That seems to be the sweet spot. The sweet spot seems to be 44, 45 minutes, and I've been pausing them until that point. I just realized we're almost at 2 hours. I am so sorry. Yeah, that is not something that I want happening. Xbox announced retro classes included with Xbox Game Pass. What is that? Is that Pitfall? Starting today, Game Pass members can dive into a collection of 50 classic Activision games from the 80s and 90s. 50 restored and ready-to-play games are available for Xbox Game Pass members. Community challenges, competitive leaderboards, all new challenge modes, high score rankings, collectible achievements, achievable Game Pass members. Yeah, Pitfall 2 is in. No. Look at all these games. Yeah, Pitfall's in there. Wait, hang on. Let me show you, chat. This is just like a screenshot. Boxing, Chopper Commando, Dolphin Enduro. Down here you can see it. You can see Pitfall. And Pitfall 2. I don't think I've ever played Pitfall 2. I only ever played Pitfall 1. Grand Prix in here. Yeah, the Pitfall. Like, that's crazy that they did that. So I can do that on my console, like, right now? Because that looks like a PC screenshot. Is this available to everybody? Okay, let's go over here. Yeah, there we go. Coming to Xbox Game Pass, PC gaming updates, and more. Yeah, Xbox Game Pass members. Oh, wait. Oh, you have an additional option on PC. Okay, I was worried. Okay. If you do the Xbox app on PC, you have an additional streaming option with GeForce Now. Okay. Commando, Grand Prix, Kaboom, MechWarrior 2, Pitfall. This initiative is a step to our commitment to game preservation. You can expect a seamless gaming experience across console, PC, and unsupported devices with cloud gaming, whether playing on console, app on PC, streaming devices. Their language here is interesting. Are we going to be playing these natively, or are we going to be playing them on the cloud? You can expect seamless gaming experiences across console, PC, and supported devices with cloud gaming. Whether playing on Xbox console, the app on PC, or streaming on supported LG, Samsung Smart TVs, Fire Sticks, MetaQuest, Retro Classics offers a versatile and accessible way to enjoy these nostalgic titles. Oh no, it says installing. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to want to play Pitfall on the cloud. By searching and installing the feature. Oh, the feature. Yeah, these might be only on the cloud. I don't want to do that. We'll have to test it. This sounds like you're installing like an app, like a feature. You're installing the feature, and then you're going to play them through the cloud. You're not actually installing Well, you know what? It's probably easier for them to do it that way, because if not, you'd have to install an emulator for every single one of the games, because you'd basically have to emulate the Atari or the Coleco or whatever it was traditionally played on. It's probably the only way they can do it, and just keep adding to the library. Technologically, I get it. It makes sense. Because when you play a backwards compat Xbox 360 game, it literally boots up a 360 emulator, and that's why all your alerts and everything come in the classic Xbox 360 way. So, Pitfall was 4 kilobytes. That's not a typo. This is really cool. I'm a little bummed that that's how they have to do it. You'd have to have so many emulators. They're just doing it. Sounds like they're just going to be doing it on the cloud. Yeah, you have to download the Retro Classics app. I wonder if that's an emulator, though, Evidence. If that's an emulator and it lets you install Pitfall and I can play Pitfall locally, I think that's dope. If I have to play Pitfall on the cloud, I don't know if I'm going to like that, because a little bit of latency in those old games, and you're going to be freaking cooked. You're going to miss a jump or something. Some of those games are tough. I mean, they're tough. Classic games are no joke. Their replayability was in their brutality. I mean, they are brutal games. And it's like, you fail, go back. This is a win. Yeah, we'll have to experiment. The games are so small. Even it doesn't matter if they're small. You're still latency will be minimal. No. Latency's not affected by the size of the game. Latency's affected by, like, if you're dropping packets or something, you're gonna miss jumps. You're gonna miss time things. Size of the game has nothing to do with cloud latency. That's not. Those things don't interact with each other. You could install the world's smallest first-person shooter and Call of Duty. If you're playing them on the cloud, their install size has no bearing on potential latency. You're testing it now? That's what's being moved per packet? No, you're playing remotely. So if there's any disruption in communication, you're going to miss stuff. Like, it's the pack. Yeah, you got this one wrong. The way that the packets are working, it's so that I can play remotely on a cloud server, Blade. And if it messes anything up in the process, it doesn't matter what game you're playing. It's going to mess with your timing. I hope it's an emulator. If it's an emulator, that's freaking dope, because they can just add games to it any time. There's a very small amount of data being moved. No, the data being moved has nothing to do with the game that you're playing. Right? Wouldn't the packets be the same size? Because you're maintaining an up and downstream with the server. Like, if I play Ghost of Tsushima and then I play Cult of the Lamb, the complexity in what the games look like and how they run doesn't matter. I was playing Inscription on the cloud on my PlayStation Portal, and latency would screw everything up. It didn't matter that I was playing a very basic game compared to a complex one. Yeah, better internet. You're not going to have an issue with the cloud. I do have fiber now, Dirge. This is true, but that doesn't matter. You can still get poor routing to the server. It's not about the amount of data. It's about keeping the steady flow of packets arriving on time. Creature is right that you are sending fewer inputs upstream for Pitfall, but I don't think it matters. Yeah, I'm sending fewer inputs for sure because I'm doing less, but I still could get latency at the point of a jump, and it could screw everything up. So the issue would be yes, of course, I'm on fiber, but again, if I don't get great routing to the server, I'm at the mercy of however many hops it is between me and the server blade. And if one of those hops is bad, like if one of those, if it routes me through some city or some hub that's not great, you'll get all this latency. Yeah, Paul's saying it. Higher speed doesn't change the fact that you have to ping the server. That's exactly right. You have a ping to the server, and the routing could be terrible. There were times there was a way to test this back in the day. When I played Quake, you could check your routing to a server, and I wouldn't play on certain servers because I had terrible routing to them. One of them was in Michigan. I got better routing one of them was like Chicago, I think. I got better routing to Michigan than I did to the Chicago servers. It was something like that. What's my IP would test your hops? Yeah, there was something that we would do. I remember doing it. I remember testing my routing to servers when I played Quake back in the day. Yep. Once you download it, it opens just like you've opened a program, and it shows all the games you can play. Do you have... Do you have to install them, Metallica, or do you get the impression that you're playing on the cloud? I'm saying it seems like a non-issue for a game that size. No, I don't agree. We're not seeing eye to eye on this one. I think latency 100% matters in games like that. If you've grown up playing games like Pitfall and Donkey Kong Jr., mistiming a jump is literally, you're dead. It's not like, oh, I lost a heart. You're dead. You start over. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, these are games where one mistimed jump is you start over. So if there's any latency at all, any disruption at all in a game like that, you're cooked. You've missed. You've fallen. You're dead. So the advantage that the games have, it's not like when you're playing Stellar Blade, there's 7 things in a row I'm reacting to, so there's a chance that there's latency in one of those moments. In Pitfall, it's whoop, So the only moment that matters is the jump. So there are less moments that matter, decreasing chance of disruption at that pivotal moment, mathematically, right? But it could still ruin your time. It could. In a game like Stellar Blade, it's like parry, dodge. And like at any one of those moments, you're screwed if it messes up. What do they offer to slow the game down like it has a speed slider? What does that have to do with what we're talking about? A cloud gaming rig with a Wi-Fi controller has actual comparable latency with your local console with the Bluetooth controller? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about any potential disruption or packet drops because you could be routed through a poor server. Something could get disrupted along the way. That's. I'm not talking about the Wi-Fi controller latency. We're talking about if the server's in Chicago and my routing to Chicago ain't great, it doesn't matter how fast my internet is. Disruptions can happen between me and the server, affecting my gameplay. They could have a rewind option. Yeah, sometimes when you play like classic games and emulators and stuff, there's rewind options. Yeah. That's always been my issue with cloud gaming, is that the infrastructure, especially in America, our infrastructure is just so woefully behind. It's just so woefully behind. Here's the thing. I don't think you would ever want to like full-time game cloud right now. You just wouldn't want to do it. I think it would be a very frustrating experience. There's too many games and too many game types and stuff where it would potentially not work very well. Okay. Cloud gaming's future is not, sadly, wholly linked to your internet speed or the quality of the cloud servers. It's also linked to infrastructure that's just out of the controls of the company. Like, if you live in a neighborhood and you're on cable and it's been oversold, it doesn't matter how good the cloud service is. They have no control over your neighborhood's internet. It's like, sorry. You know? You're stuck. America in many ways is worse than rule around Europe. So I understand the skepticism on that side of the pond. But I clocked more than 5,000 hours of playtime. It's been a great experience. I'm not saying you can't have a good experience. I'm just saying it's completely out of the consumer's control. Like, you just don't have any control over it. Like, I finally got fiber in my neighborhood. That's been life-changing. I can dual stream. I can record something and upload it to my producer, and it doesn't affect the stream. 3 months ago, I couldn't do that. My entire interaction with technology changed and my ability to do what I do for a living completely and fundamentally changed when I got internet that was in the 21st dadgum century. Coming back to Kazan, I would like to come back to Kazan, but I'm trying to finish Doom. Then I want to play Expedition 33. I kind of feel like Blades of Fire is going to cut in front of Kazan. I think I liked it more. I also think it's probably a faster game as well. Remote play and cloud gaming is the same. Somewhat, yeah, it's the same idea, yes. You're remoting into a device and playing on that device. That's essentially what cloud gaming is. Cloud gaming is you remoting into a server somewhere and you're playing on that server. And that's what remote play essentially is. That's why I always told people that the PlayStation Portal was going to get cloud added to it, and they didn't think that would happen. And I'm like, I don't see why you would think that. It's literally a cloud device. That's how it operates. When you have the server remote play, your PlayStation's involved. It's the same principle, though. You're remoting into something else that's running the game. It's the same idea. As much as it bums me out that Mind's Eye maybe isn't going to be as good as I hoped it would be based on it being made by the guy who was a big part of GTA's development, but there hasn't been much coverage. I have never seen a game that's so obviously... It just seems like they're up to some kind of shenanigans. It really does. I don't know what to tell you. It has very much the day before vibes. Something's off with that game, and I can't put my finger on it. There's something off. There's just something not right. I don't know. The way they've showcased the gameplay, the way the gameplay looks, I don't trust it. There's something doesn't smell right with Mind's Eye. Yeah, I'm talking about Mind's Eye. Yeah. Something's off. I'm not saying it's a scam. Like, the day before was an absolute scam. Like, they were liars and con artists. All right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying something is off. I get similar vibes. I get very, very similar vibes. It's like, I don't know what you guys are doing. Twitch is rolling out the ability to buy bits and gift subs with the money that you make streaming on Twitch. Give back to your community or support other streamers you love by using your spendable balance. Will roll out in the US in the coming days. I mean, that's kind of cool. You never heard of the Portal? It was like the #1 selling accessory in certain months, and like far exceeded all of their expectations of demand. It did a lot better than people were saying that it was going to do. Not surprising. I mean, the naysayers are always like, "This DOA, this is stupid, this is dumb, nobody's going to buy this," and then it. Yeah, they're trying to bring live rewind to Twitch as well. That'll be a nice feature. Mind's Eye reminds me of God Save Birmingham. Something feels off with that game as well. God Save Birmingham? I don't think I've seen that. I don't even know what that is. Liza P. Overture doesn't play with the Pinocchio-inspired Souls-like formula too much, but on our hands-on, we found that the new ingredients it added proved that there's never too much of a good thing, even if it is largely the same thing. Oh, there's impressions. Look like previews and impressions are dropping. I applaud the thoroughness. Oh, you like the breaks? Are those all my audio breaks, creature? Ziostorm has a nice vid on Liza P. Never Zach Down says, great haircut, dude. Not sure how long you've had it, but it's solid. Oh, I've been rocking this style for a while. No, the audio triple recorded? What? Hang on a second. Let me check this filter that we use to record just the camera. Yeah, it's supposed to just do audio track all. I don't know why. Does it sound weird? They added difficulty settings to Liza P. All new stuff coming, looks dope. They added difficulty settings? What do you mean? Are you legit gonna be able to, like, hang on. Stories to cover here, and there's a lot of things to talk about. Well, another game looks like it will be $80, and gamers are not happy, and they really did not like how Randy Pitchford responded to the. He's very transparent about the fact that it's up to the publisher. The price point is not his call, despite people. It's playing music now. It wasn't doing that originally. That's weird, creature. I don't know what the frick it's doing. I don't know what that plugin's doing. It recorded both my mic and the music, and originally it wasn't doing that, and now it's doing that. Do we have information on the difficulty settings, even for the base game? Yo, Omega says, welcome back. Haven't tuned in for a while. Hope all is well. Thank you. Yeah, I've had this haircut since like early 2021. Liza P does not offer traditional difficulty settings. Hang on. We need news on this. Liza P is getting difficulty options and ultra hard bosses and ultra hard boss rush mode. He assures us that it's always going to be hard. The move will open up the game to a whole new slew of players, while the fresh boss rush mode is also inbound to challenge the Souls-like veterans. Adding difficulty mode is likely to be controversial. They're there to attract players who might have written off the game as too much of a challenge. He jokes that the game is always difficult, but says that titles like Liza P aren't about being needlessly difficult, but instead creating a sense of accomplishment in players when they finally figure it out. We'll have to test that. I'm very curious how easy they're going to make it, because First Berserker Kazan's easy mode is not exactly what I would classify as an easy mode, because you still can get you still have to hit all your timings and your parries and everything. You'll get your head caved in, even on easy in Kazan. Like, Kazan's still difficult. They just give you a larger health pool, and you do more damage, and you use less of like your stamina or whatever, but you're still getting absolutely caved in if you play poorly. I'll be really interested in how extreme it is. Like, will I be able to boot up and go to Swamp Monster and just take him to task? Like, to what degree are they going to be allowing you, to what degree is it quote unquote easy mode? You know what I mean? I think it's a fair balance. Something for the tryhard, something for people looking to enjoy. Yeah, I wonder what the Souls-like guys are, what their take on that's going to be, Open it up to more people. Is it going to frustrate folks? Because some people don't like that, because they're like, well, then we haven't beat the same game. Like, beating the game on easy and beating the game on hard is very different. Kazan, I heard, really isn't easy. No, if you put First Berserker Kazan on easy mode, it's not easy. You're not going to be like, yeah, I can button mash my way through. This is easy. You wouldn't describe it as easy. You would describe it as easier. Does that make sense? Like, you can stay alive a little bit longer. Like, when you play a game like First Berserker Kazan, you know how many times this happens. You almost have the boss, and you get a little bit greedy, and you die. Well, in this case, you almost have the boss, you get a little bit greedy, and because you don't take as much damage, you might stay alive and get him. You know those runs where you're like, you've got him on the ropes and you make a bad call. It's a little bit more forgiving. So when you have somebody on the ropes, you're going to walk away with the W. That's not an easy mode. Like, it's, again, you're not going in like, button mashing. You have to play Kazan on Kazan's terms. It's just that they're making it more approachable. It's no Sony showcase. Don't need one. Just watch Xboxes. What are you talking about? I think there's going to be some type of a PlayStation event. They're probably going to announce it. I think they're going to announce it before the end of this week, because I think they'll do it next week. They might announce it at the beginning of next week, but I think they're doing something next week. That's their pattern. They'll do a state of play, or there's rumors that they're planning a showcase. They're doing. I would not be surprised at all if we get an announcement before the end of this week about that. Maybe beginning. But I feel like they might do a showcase. It's been 2 years. Doing a showcase every 2 years, doing a showcase halfway through the gen to talk about like the next phase of the gen. I mean, they've got a lot of things they could talk about. I don't know. He's saying because all the Xbox games are going to PlayStation. Oh, he's saying the Xbox showcase is a PlayStation showcase. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, PlayStation has a lot of first party to talk about. They could talk about Lost Soul Aside, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Intergalactic, Soros, Phantom Blade Zero, Wolverine. I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like there was 8. I feel like I'm forgetting one. There was another first party in the mix that I'm forgetting. I can't remember what it was. But they've got a lot of first party they could talk about. They tend to not do that, though. They're kind of weird. They'll do a showcase, and a lot of the first party won't be there. Well, that's not necessarily true, because the 1 year they had Fair Games, Concord, Marathon, and Spider-Man. Now, it sucked because the only one that was an actual trailer worth a damn was Yotei. Not Yotei, was Spider-Man 2. Everything else was a stupid cinematic. Manuel with a 5 spot. The same people that cried when the ghost summons were added to Elden Ring. They weren't added to Elden Ring. They were a part of Elden Ring at launch. Anybody crying about that doesn't make any sense. Maybe a secret Venom game. They said in their earnings report they're anticipating selling more first-party units this year, fiscal year, than last fiscal year, which I don't know how they plan to do that. Helldivers was insanely successful. I don't know how they... Now, granted, it was just Helldivers and Astrobot. I don't know if they counted... Well, they might have counted Stellar Blade in that total. Even still, Stellar Blade didn't knock the doors off sales-wise. So, like, they may think that they're going to have a greater number of units sold this year, and I think some of it is because there might be a surprise game holiday, like the Venom game. There could be. I don't know if they think that Yotei, Lost Soul Aside, and Death Stranding 2 are strong enough to outsell Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is like a record-breaking game for them. Yeah, I saw the India Hero Project gameplay trailer from Mukti. It looks pretty cool. Not really a game that I would necessarily like die for, like maybe like a Friday night game or something. God of War rumored, not this year. No. You could get Barlog's game could show up as a surprise. I don't know. I think we're far more likely, if I was a betting man, I would bet that the Venom game exists. It'll be a $40 game like Miles. And they just built it with the existing assets in City from Spider-Man 2 to speed up development. Guys, if you haven't done so already on YouTube, do me a favor and smash the like button. The news cycle, man, killed us today. Turnout was just all over the place, and it might have been because of what I was doing with the ads. I didn't mean to. I don't know. Something also seemed to happen at the 2-hour mark. We just went like this. I don't know what happened. I don't know if we were on a runner or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. YouTube's been very unpredictable. Twitch has been very predictable, very reliable. It's been very same every day, but YouTube, it's like, I don't know. I can't predict. We go single topic. Single topic used to not do well, and then now it's doing better than multi. Maybe they're hoping all the people that got the games on PC are going to want to play the sequels on PlayStation. Tay and Death Stranding 2. Maybe. Any Splitgate beta coverage tomorrow? Sorry, Cozy. No, I have no interest in that game. It's a PvP game. I won't. I can comment on it from a distance about live service trends and player funnels. I'm not gonna play it. I mean, maybe on a Friday night or something with you guys as a goal, just for laughs and giggles. But I'm not interested in the game at all. It's an arena PvP shooter. Like, fair enough. Just wanted to ask. No, it's fine to ask if I'm going to cover something. Fighting games, sports games, driving games, PvP games. You're not going to see them covered here almost ever, unless something significant happens, like controversial or something. The number of times I've covered like a racing game on this channel, like with an upload or with a thumbnail or title, it's rare. It's like Forza coming to PS5 type thing. It's not like me playing the game. Now everyone wants to play Marathon. Why does Sony need a showcase? I argued that it's a good time for a showcase, Granddaddy Perp, because they have so much to talk about, and I think it's good for them to cast a vision for the second half of the gen. We're going into the second half of the gen, and I think they should cast a vision for that. I do. They've maintained good demand for the PS5 without being able to lower the price. That's really difficult to do. Like the PS4 was able to lower its price halfway through. They've not been able to do that with the PS5. I think that should make them put the pedal down. And they should say, listen, we've got this, and this year. We've got Lost Soul Aside, Death Stranding 2, Yote, boom, boom, boom. Here's what we have in 2026. Saros, Intergalactic, I think Wolverine. Like, that's what I think they should do. I think they should cast that vision, because if you're not going to lower the price, they also have to be concerned about what if they do have to raise the price. They clearly don't want to. They're trying to avoid a price hike on the console itself. They recently talked about that in an earnings call. A really, really great way to shore up confidence, demand, and consumer, drive to come to your platform is to do a big showcase where you say, hey, we're only halfway through, man. You're indulging as we speak. Oh, with some perp? Okay, good. Good for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like now's the time that you do a big showcase. I do. Because you want people to say PlayStation is the place to be this gen. And even if the price goes up, people will remember they've got so many games coming. Where else am I going to go? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm thinking purely from a marketing position, a marketing standpoint. Like, I don't care either way. I'm getting Yote this year. That's like my number one game right now that I'm looking forward to. Like, and we're getting Death Stranding 2, which I loved Death Stranding 1 after I false started with it and gave it a second shot, and I really liked it. So to me, I think now's the time. Now, especially, they might not have considered this, but they should really be considering this now. Marathon is attached to one of their studios. Marathon is not a PlayStation initiative. People keep trying to attach to PlayStation. That's disingenuous, and they know they're being disingenuous. That is a Bungie initiative that was started like 7 years ago. Okay? That's a Bungie initiative. That's not a PlayStation initiative. That didn't come from Jim Ryan, right? You want to lay Concord at Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst's feet? Go right ahead and do it. But Marathon's got nothing to do with them. But that doesn't matter. From the public's perspective, another PlayStation-owned studio is bringing a piece of crap to the market. A showcase can really muffle that and hide that. You can be like, Marathon who? You got to think, the last time they did a showcase, Concord trailer, bombed. It was in the showcase. Marathon trailer, it's about to bomb. It was in the showcase. Fair Games trailer, it's probably not even coming to the dadgum market. Those 3 games were in your showcase 2 years ago. It's time to set a different message. That would be my charge to PlayStation. You got to set up a different message now, man. You ain't looking so hot in that department. The last time you guys did a showcase, 3 of the first-party games in the showcase are looking like utter crap right now. I'd walk out and I wouldn't mention any of those games, and I'd be talking about Yote, Death Stranding, Saros, Intergalactic, Wolverine. Boom, boom, boom. Let people know PlayStation's still rocking big name titles, big quality titles. They've got studios that can cook. I wouldn't mention any of those games. Fair Games is probably not even going to launch at this point. They dropped the $ from Fair Games. I would say drop the game entirely. You ain't going to get any $ from that game. I don't think they're going to stop the live service focus, though, Anthony. Go back to original focus. They're not going to stop. Do you want to know why? Helldivers 2 has like 2.5 million players a week, brother. They are printing money in that game. That game has done incredibly well. They're going to keep placing live service bets. Do you want to know why? It's worth it. The money they lost on Concord, if you actually listen to accurate reporting and not the liars who said that, like, PlayStation lost $400 million, that's a bunch of BS. That's not true. The money they lost on Concord is nothing compared to what you can earn in perpetuity off of a game like Helldivers 2. They're going to keep placing live service bets. Helldivers has did a substantive update, and look at what's happening with the game. It's back, right on top of engagement charts. That's what I was saying yesterday on Cowboy Show about Helldivers, FCAT. You have to understand, Sony isn't concerned with the point scoring, like the point tracking that these guys do on Twitter. They don't give a crap about that. They care about money. And Helldivers 2 right now, they're looking at the back end saying, we got to keep trying this live service thing. If we have 4 flops and 1 hit, it's worth it. No Fair Games and Marathon? Yeah, cancel them both. They're non-starters. They won't make you any money. Just shut them down. Shut them down. If Marathon sees the light of day, it's only because of some weird contractual obligation that Bungie has with PlayStation for the payout. I don't think we see Wolverine at all, or just this summer. Did Sony say 1 out of every 10 live service games they expect 2 or 3 to hit? I don't know exactly what they said and where. That would be good context to go and find and be like, they actually anticipate this. They anticipate to have a bunch of fails. They're throwing stuff at the wall. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're throwing stuff at the wall. And when something hits, it pays off immensely. I think Helldivers should release on Xbox. That would bring world peace. Yeah. I don't know if you want Arrowhead having to deal with another platform and patching and quality control and a Series S version. If they were trying to grow that user base, they would make a PS4 version. There's more people on the PS4 than the Xbox ecosystem. Like, it's not even a contest. There's like 60 million people still turning on PS4s. There's like 30 million Xbox Series consoles in circulation. There's twice as many people turning on PS4s. There's no way. The money wouldn't make sense. They'd be like, make a PS4 version if you're going to do something. Why would you do that? Go to a platform that's going to want it on Game Pass? Like, Sony should have acquired Take-Two. They couldn't afford Take-Two. The memes would have been funny. Loki would be Xbox saying they have COD and Iron Man, and PlayStation saying they have GTA. They couldn't afford Take-Two. Take-Two's asking price would be outside of PlayStation's budget. They've increased their acquisition spending, but they couldn't afford Take-Two. And also, PlayStation makes very, very different surgical choices with their acquisition spending. They would rather publish games than buy studios. Look at their behavior with the China Hero Project and the India Hero Project and the MENA Hero Project. I think their money's better spent, personally. Their money's better spent. Spending money publishing instead of buying studios will be more lucrative for them. It will be, because it's less expensive and it's less risky. You don't take on the operating costs of a studio. So if the game doesn't do so well, okay, that's fine. It's not as hard to make back publishing dollars or budget for a studio, like budget for the project. It's easier to make that money back than to be like, well, not only did we have to pay to buy the studio, and now we're shouldering their operating costs, we also have to shoulder their operating costs after the thing launches. Research indicates that fewer than 20% of venture capital investments result in an IPO. Sony's working with venture capitalist numbers, so it's not unheard of. Yeah, I think Sony spends their money more effectively. I do. Microsoft spent an ungodly amount of money to buy a bunch of games that were already coming to the market, and now they're just putting them everywhere anyway. So like, well, wow, you own Call of Duty now, but like, it's not additive to the market. PlayStation's spending their money to be additive. They're going to developers and funding the games to bring them to the market. Like, they're being more, I think they're being more effective with their spend. They have less money, and I feel like they're more effective. Like, Microsoft writes an enormous check to basically own a bunch of studios that were already bringing games to market. Doom was already coming. Call of Duty was already coming. All these games were already coming to the market. Nothing changed. The name on the parent company changed. That's it. I in my estimation, it's far more effective to do what PlayStation's doing. And if it works in China, they're going to be laughing all the way to the bank, because all this talk about the console ecosystem being, dead and stagnant or whatever people have been saying, PlayStation's going to be laughing all the way to the bank, because they're going to be like, yeah, sure it is, as they start selling in a market that traditionally consoles have not shown up in. They're going to be if I was them, I'd be giggling. Yeah. Keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself that the console market is the console market is stagnant and dead as they start to grow in China. Like, I don't know. It's going to be hilarious to watch that one develop. Microsoft is making their money on other platforms while making it free for Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, but again, that's not additive to the market. You're not going and saying to like a small studio or like, okay, let's just talk about this for a second. Everybody is talking about the $80 price point, and one of the things that's coming out of that, one of the talking points that's coming out of that, is that there is going to be a renaissance and a resurgence of AA games and indie games, right? Well, look at PlayStation's efforts with China Hero, India Hero, and Mina Hero Project. They're quite literally funding those types of studios. They're publishing those types of games. Do you see? If the market starts to open up and people are more receptive to $40 and $50 games, and they can sell really well, especially when the quality is there, their efforts with China, Mina, and India could pay out really, really well for them. If people are like, man, I'm sick of these $80 games, and there's this resurgence of AA and indie, well, PlayStation's going to be sitting there being like, we're literally funding those types of games. What's Xbox going to be holding? Xbox is going to be holding some of the biggest studios and some of the biggest pieces of property, and they're going to be the one driving the $80 price point along with Nintendo. We'll see if PlayStation does it. Right? So it's like, I feel like that's going to be a really, really good opportunity for PlayStation to, again, find growth in a market that people are saying is stagnant. It's like, I don't know about that. We got a lot of folks predicting a resurgence of AAA and AA and $50 games. PlayStation's going to be saying, great. If there's a resurgence to that and the market's really receptive to that, we're backing a lot of those projects right now. Xbox has ID at Xbox and tons of indies that they promote, though. They do have that. I've always said they need to do more with that, though, Epsilon, because a lot of those efforts, those things just hit Game Pass day and date. So what I've always said with ID at Xbox is they should be publishing, funding those games, and putting them into game trials. Let the guys on Game Pass try them, and then if they like them, they can buy them. Like, bring back the era of the Xbox Arcade. I found so many great games because of the Xbox Arcade on the 360. You would download the demo, and if you liked it, it'd be like, do you like it? Buy it right now. I did that so many times. I did that with Gatling Wars with my wife. I did that with Crimson Alliance with my wife. We were always finding great co-op games that way. Granddaddy Perp says, I'm behind on the stream. I'm responding to the old comments. I gotta stop smoking this. Yeah, put the bowl down and get back into the live stream, and then, just chill. Chill, daddy. Get yourself some food. Get yourself some water. Level out. Fusion Frenzy was the best demo of all time. I would absolutely love if ID at Xbox ended up being one of their better efforts. Like buying all these big studios and, charging people $80 for Call of Duty. Who cares about that? I mean, that was inevitable, right? I would say their ID at Xbox is going to be one of their better potential moves, because you can start to add to the market the stuff that people want. But if you're just flooding Game Pass with a bunch of independent games, I don't think that'll do that. People, it's easier to ignore them because it ends up looking, it's not this, but it can end up looking like shovelware. I love their efforts with ID. I interviewed the head guy from ID at Xbox at E3 in 2019. I was so thrilled to do it because I love the fact that they've been backing that. I think they need to do more with it, and I think they need to foster an ecosystem of purchase around those games. Stop just throwing them on Game Pass. This is what I would do. I would use Game Pass for the big titles and your third-party deals like they did with Expedition 33. I would use ID at Xbox to foster this idea of like, these are games that we support and sell. We're not just throwing them on Game Pass. No. Right? Start to change the mindset around that. Give ID at Xbox its own section within Game Pass, and you call it Game Pass Trials. It's a perk of Game Pass. Every month, there's all these games you can go try before you buy. That's what people do anyway. You want to put Call of Duty and Doom and Indiana Jones and all these big name titles, you want to put those on Game Pass? Fine, do that. Those are your marketing beats. Those are your big name titles. Don't do that with ID at Xbox. Those should be in a trial funnel that motivates people to purchase the games. I have said that for a very long time. I'm like, I don't think you should treat those games and studios that way. I don't think that's the right way to treat the smaller games and smaller studios. I don't. You're basically just funding them to be fodder. You're funding the project, and it just ends up being fodder on Game Pass. I don't think that's a healthy relationship. I don't think those studios are in a powerful position. I don't. You put them into a more powerful position if they build an amazing game and it kind of goes viral and people are talking about it and buzzing about it. They're all trying it through Game Pass. Like, look at the player numbers that they get to tout when a game hits Game Pass, right? Player numbers can really go high for a game because of Game Pass. The same thing could happen here, right? Like an indie game could break out. Everybody's trying it, saying it's amazing. And then what do? They're buying it. They're buying it. That's a better relationship for that indie studio. Now, I don't know with ID at Xbox if you're going to start to see those efforts go multi-plat. I believe that it would make sense to do it that way, but if you guys haven't done so already, do me a quick favor and smash the like button. Try to get us to 300 likes on YouTube. We're still having our friendly little competition. The next milestone is 475. So make sure you use your Twitch Primes on Twitch. Make sure you guys celebrate your renewals on YouTube to get us closer to the next milestone. Whoever hits it gets it. So I'm already all paid up. And Twitch, I don't think you've won one of the gifteds yet today, so there's still a chance. And yeah. I get what you're saying, Lona, but Xbox has them so accustomed to everything on Game Pass that if they change something, they might lose people. I don't know about that. I would say they're switching day and date to Ultimate and raising the price of Ultimate. I think they could slowly shift and say, we have a new initiative with ID at Xbox, and we're calling it Game Trials. You pitch it as a value point. Now, sure, people might say, well, hey, we used to get those for free. Well, okay, we're not doing that anymore. They're making changes. You just got to get used to it, Thank you. Welcome back. I'm getting a lot of people that are finding me again after everything that happened 5 years ago. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. They want everybody to move to PC. Fuzzy said in the Discord, but are they real fans though? Sorry, I missed this, Fuzzy. You said, what if Marathon comes out so that Sony can kick in the doors? I still don't know where I land on that. I don't. I have a video coming today about Destiny 3 will make you God. And I go through a much longer argumentation about like why I think that's their play. And we're going to go to that video, you know, shortly. But I don't know. Like, a lot of people have been looking at the contract. A lot of people have been looking at the deal between Bungie and Sony. And it seems like if certain things don't happen, they won't get their, like, final amortized payment. They won't get it. So, word of mouth is spreading about me being back on Twitch. I honestly was expecting there to be far more negative fallout from it. Like, nothing happened. Nobody did or said anything. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very telling. I don't know. I thought that was very telling. It was like, oh. Like, nothing. Not a blip. Not a video. Not an angry rant. Nothing. It was so... I was shocked. Pleasantly shocked. It's been 5 years. That helps, Rope. I was talking about it with my group 2 days ago. Yeah, spread the word. There's probably a lot of people that are, unaware because it was so long ago. Do we think Shift Up gets bought by Sony? I don't know. I again think that the issue with purchases is that PlayStation doesn't seem to... I don't know if they're going to be too keen on purchases right now. Firewalk didn't go very well. Not really going that well with Bungie, but it could be what they wanted, or it could be a bank error in their favor, like they end up with the IP in the studio. See, Devolver's playing along with Randy. I think this is in good spirit. Okay, so Randy Pitchford leaned into the meme here because Devolver said, you're going to be able to buy Myco Punk for you and 3 of your friends for the price of a copy of Borderlands. And he says Myco Punk is cheaper than a point of meth, probably has fewer side effects too. And Devolver has leaned in and played along. Myco Punk, Super Regular Standard Edition. Like meth, but without the side effects. Come on, this is exactly why I don't think anybody should be losing their mind over Pitchford's tweet. I think everybody just needs to calm the frick down. Just calm down, everybody. He's prideful. If you watch his response, Lobo, when he was asked the question, at the event that they did, I don't think so at all. I think people are completely misreading his tweet and completely removing the context and everything that he said. I don't think he was like, if you're a real fan, you'll buy it. It's like, that is not at all what he was communicating. It's just lost in race to the bottom. What's the worst way to interpret what the man said? Like, that's kind of where we are. Because I felt like the way he handled the question at the event and the way he handled the event and the way he spoke and stuff, I was like, this seems like he's really, trying to not be the guy that he's been for so long. Like, he really steps in it on Twitter pretty regularly. And, yeah, the thing is, Lobo, him saying it differently wouldn't change anything, and I would rather get a raw and just very transparent and honest response from somebody instead of what we typically get when the subject of price increases comes up. Did Microsoft's blog about it make it any better? A bunch of corpo speak and a bunch of nothing? Like, does that make it better that, like, Microsoft and Xbox's hardware is now more expensive because they typed up something that was, like, you know, sanitized? It doesn't change anything. I would rather know I'm getting straight shot. I'm getting straight answer. I'm just getting what the guy thinks. I said it this morning in Morning Coffee. I would take 10 Randy Pitchfords over, like, Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer's done nothing but double speak and, you know, corpo-driven, you know, messaging for the last 5 years. He lulled a bunch of Xbox fans into a stupor, into a sleep, and they thought nothing was going to happen. He played them like fiddles. I'd rather have Pitchford just being honest than what we've received from most of the corporate talking heads the last couple of years. I can see why you feel that way. I don't need a CEO to stroke my ego and make me feel good. I just need straight answers. That's why I've always said, what do I always said when these subjects come up? You are always going to know what's going on if you go to the earnings calls because they shoot straight. They can't lie. They can't do double speak when they're talking to the dadgum shareholders. That's where you know where the changes are being signaled. Stop going to podcasts and interviews. No. You go to the earnings calls. Nobody listened. Like the Bleed Green guys didn't listen. They thought they knew what was going on and they understood the context. Everything was about ABK. Yeah, how'd that work out? My point is, that's why I've always said, go to the earnings calls because you're gonna get the straight talk there. That's why I'm like, listen, Pitchford's eccentric. Yeah, he can be a little cringe and brash, and he certainly steps in it. He should definitely stay off Twitter, but at least I know I'm getting honesty from him. It's authentic. It's real. That's him. I'd rather get that than some sanitized corporate talking head who everything they say is like pre-approved by some department. And you have no idea if you're getting a straight answer or not. You double speak and contradictions and... You know what I mean? It's not even like, I'm not even like defending it and being like, what he said's good. It's like, I mean, he obviously should have phrased it in a different way. He had to know what he was doing. You're stepping in it. Everybody's gonna come for your dadgum head. Everybody's gonna come for your head over this. He should have known better. He's too much of a veteran in the industry to think that like what he typed was gonna be well received. But if I had my choice between what he said and some sanitized tweet where he doesn't actually say anything, it's not up to me. We believe that what we're going to deliver is a valuable product and blah, 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 blah. It wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't change the price of Borderlands. It wouldn't change the reality that we're facing. We'd be sitting in the exact same scenario. You just wouldn't be able to be angry at him. Like, it would just be this boring nothing statement. All he did was feed the news cycle something to talk about for the last 24 hours. Lucen says wishful thinking, but I really wish Twitter wasn't as crucial a platform for communicating with your community and marketing. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It speaks to the intent. I'd rather a straight shooter than someone saying something provocative for gig. People of the dog pile. Right, like that's why I'm not upset at what he said. I know his intention was he was just being honest with the fans. He wasn't trying to be a jerk. He wasn't saying you're not a real fan. That was not his intention. Like, it's, to me, that's obvious. Like, that's why I'm not upset by it. I'm like, intentions matter. You know? people like to say intentions don't matter, and they only do that when they want to villainize somebody. I've been through that myself. When people want to villainize you, they like to remove intention from what you were doing because that's how you maintain villain arc claims about somebody. You know what I mean? You can make somebody a persistent villain in a story if everything they do, you can interpret it as villainous because intentions don't matter. The only people who say intentions don't matter, I think they're the true villains. Like, they're the ones that try to make it seem like, well, I get to interpret anything you say and anything you do, I can interpret how I see fit because, intentions don't matter. These are my truth people. That's what these people do. Like, oh, it's my truth. So they get to interpret what you say, and they just get to remove intention. It's like, that's stupid. I don't think you should be able. I mean, I guess you can. I don't think it's a good way of communication. I think it's an easy way to just villainize anything that is done or said. It's just a straight shot to villain. It's like, oh, we're gonna villainize. So, speaking of villains, I got a video about Bungie and Destiny 3. I'm gonna spam the link in chat. Guys on Twitch, do me a favor. Click that link. I'll be back in a little bit. We're going to continue streaming, but we're going to stop streaming for a little bit. We're all going to go watch this video together. It is immensely helpful to me when you watch these videos. This one is called Destiny 3 Will Make You God. Please check it out. I'll be right back.